Getting ready to kick off. He's a senior from Lambertville, Michigan. Keep an eye on number 4, Darius Phillips, the return man, very dangerous return man for Western Michigan. He's already returned a kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown, a punt for a touchdown, and he has a pair of pick sixes this year. So 4 non-offensive touchdowns, which I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody doing that this early in the season. Rainius getting ready to kick off. Western Michigan, one of 3 FBS schools opening the weekend at 7-0, and Phillips watches this one go out of the end zone, so they will start at the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at the keys to the game right now, brought to you by Haylett Auto and RV Supercenter. Hightail it to hail it.
Yeah, to me, Western Michigan has to continue to stay high. Keep the oars in the water. We'll talk about that and continue to win the turnover battle. They have only one. That is not a misprint, ladies and gentlemen, the entire season.
So you take a good look at Zach Terrell, the fifth-year senior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Almost 1,600 yards, 1,597. 70% he has completed. At the top of the broadcast, you mentioned just one INT by Roback. Well, this young man here, Terrell, has not thrown a pick this year. 17 touchdowns, no interceptions. So the 2 quarterbacks we're watching here today combined 24 touchdowns and just 1 interception. Terrell opens up the game working from the shotgun. They come in averaging, as you mentioned, to 44 points a game. That's number 1 in the Mid-American Conference. Little razzle-dazzle. Flea flicker right away and looking for Davis, and it's incomplete. So you take a look at the defensive team back there. Number 3, Jason Beck in coverage for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, and you see a little razzle-dazzle right from the get-go, and this is how you know it's a big game. You come out, you're an explosive offense that Western Michigan has, and they go right up top, and just a little bit underthrown right there, but an excellent job of the defense to get back, not panic, and make a big play.
Brad, I stand corrected. Vince Calhoun, number 10. On your screens at home in your living room, the numbers might be easier to read, but these Eastern Michigan numbers are very, very difficult to read. It seems like more and more college football teams are doing that to us. So that was Calhoun in coverage that time. So this one goes right up the middle. It's going to be Franklin, but a penalty flag is dropped way back at the 22-yard line. And one at the 24. Now, if it goes against Western Michigan, they're averaging about 5 penalties a game. Tim O'Day, that's our referee here in Kalamazoo today from the Mid-American Conference officiating crew, and it does go against P.J. Fleck. So again, just 5 penalties a game. That's an illegal formation that time for the Broncos. You mentioned Corey Davis at the top of the broadcast. Davis, of course, a one-time freshman of the year. We'll talk about his numbers, just 568 yards shy of becoming the all-time FBS record holder in receiving yards, but he had his man beat, Brad. The ball just didn't get there in time.
Yeah, I mean, it was an excellent job of them disguising him, put him in a slot, but unfortunately the defender got there first.
Carrington Thompson with the catch, up over the 30 to about the 33. That came on in 15 yards to go. They have to get to the 35 for the first down.
Yeah, and something is just a quick hitch, get it out there, go to one of these wide receivers, talked about Carrington being able to call it in and get them in a third and short, They
picked up 12. Keep it on the ground. Franklin is going to be stopped just shy of that 35-yard line. Last catch by Carrington Thompson, incidentally. Kirk Shiraka saying that the offensive coordinator saying that they always knew he had talent, but he hasn't been producing until this year. That was his 19th catch, and he's averaging about 16 yards a catch. Well, it comes up shy. They're going to have to punt it away.
Big stop for Eastern Michigan in that defense. Again, helped by the penalty, and that's one thing, Mike, we're going to have to keep an eye on throughout this game. Eastern Michigan, obviously the underdog on the road, but they've won 3 games in a row, which is something they hadn't done in a long, long time at Eastern Michigan. But if they can win the turnover battle, and if Eastern Michigan can force penalties by Western Michigan, they give themselves an opportunity to win this football game and get their 4th victory on the road.
Mitchell's rugby-style kick rolls all the way inside the 30-yard line of Eastern Michigan. Mitchell comes in averaging almost 46 yards a punt, along with 56. Let's take a look at the keys to the game again, brought to you by Haylett Auto and RV Supercenter. Hightail it to hail it, and now the keys to the game for Eastern Michigan.
Well, you see it right there. Eastern Michigan, you must slow down. You can't even slow it down. You have to stop Western Michigan's running game and then have productive second halves. They've started fast. They want to continue that in the second half of football games in order for them to be victorious here today.
Brogan Roback out of the Toledo area. You mentioned Maumee. He was a 4-star recruit, suspended for the first 2 games this year. He comes in averaging about 74% last week, 64 for the season. And they keep it on the ground, and they're running against this Bronco defense. It's going to be tough. He might have got back to the line of scrimmage. It's Ian Erickson. Now, keep in mind, they're 5-2, Brad, and Shaq Van was injured against Missouri, and he only had 21 carries this year, but he was averaging 7.9 yards a carry when he was injured.
Yeah, and Shaq Van is explosive. He's one of the best running backs in the MAC conference, and not only the nation, so losing him is going to be tough, but Erickson and Turner have done a great job of filling the void. Turner, you'll see him today, is averaging 5.5 yards a carry for the freshman, 3 touchdowns, long of 50. He's a home run hitter. We'll keep our eye on him today in this offense for the Eagles.
Roback coming near side, and this one's complete to Porter. Porter's up over the 40 to about the 44-yard line. Antoine Porter talking to their offensive coordinator, Kellen DeBoer, saying that in the slot, boy, one-on-one, he is tough to guard. They pick up 14 in the first down.
Yeah, 5'8", 185-pounder junior. Again, you talked about 27, now his 28th reception. In the slot, he's going to be a problem for the defense of Western Michigan.
Sergio Bailey up to the midfield stripe. Sergio Bailey, a junior. He had 143 yards receiving last week in that victory over the Bobcats of Ohio University. You know, Brad, you look at, they've had 15 receivers this year, 10 last week. Their 4 leading receivers weren't even on the football team last year.
Yeah, 3 of those guys were JUCO transfers. And one of the things, Mike, that we'll keep an eye on, because they distribute and disperse the football to everybody. So that's going to be difficult for Western Michigan in the offense as you see a big run here.
Nice haul for Erickson. Erickson's off to the races inside the 15-yard line. And he dropped the football, picked up by Phillips. So Phillips not only has 4 non-offensive touchdowns, now he has a fumble recovery to add to his resume. Boy, nice hole on the right side by Eastern Michigan.
You're going to see this coming right in the middle of your living room. Great power. You see the pull right there. Comes through, secures the football, and shows a little breakaway right here. But look at the effort of the defense. Yes, you're beat. Looks like he stripped it. I'm sure they're going to take a peek at this to make sure it was out. But it looks like right there he may have gotten the football out before he hit the ground. Excellent job of stripping it prior to. And you talk about number 4, the playmaker, Darius Phillips. He just finds his way to be around the football.
And Brad, again, that was Breck Turner. It wasn't Erickson running the football, number 33, Turner. But again, from up here, it is almost virtually impossible to see those numbers. So they're going to go upstairs and take a look at this. It was a 38-yard run, a 6-yard return by Darius Phillips. Let's take a couple of more looks at this one.
Yeah, and again, you see right here, great hustle right there by Ferguson, you know, of being able to track that down. Redshirt senior, he's beat. Excellent job. You practice it every day of what we call tomahawk chop, as you see with the left hand. And it looks like it is just loose before that right knee hits the ground right there. Eastern Michigan is obviously hoping, but number 4, Darius Phillips, catches the football, returns kicks, has interceptions, and now you're right there with a huge fumble recovery. That will be a huge momentum shift for Western Michigan after a big run there by the freshman Breck Turner, who we just talked about. Freshman mistake. You know when people are coming, secure it with 2 hands, young fella.
Now it's in the hands of Bill Laudy, our replay official. We had a nice conversation with Bill before the game as he stopped by the broadcast booth.
Yeah, we told him hopefully he had a quiet day, and we're right here in the first quarter with 11:45 to go, and we're already up there.
Justin Ferguson.
The ruling of the runner not being down prior to fumbling the ball is confirmed. First down, Western Michigan.
So Justin Ferguson gets the forced fumble. Darius Phillips gets the fumble recovery. And that's another turnover. And this Western Michigan defense came in at plus 12 in that department. We can make it plus 13 right now. So the Broncos take over at the 17-yard line here in the first quarter from Kalamazoo. Terrell has trips to the top of your screen. They're going to keep it in the backfield now. Damari Bogan gets the call. Bogan over the 20 to 25, and he stopped at about the 27-yard line. So coming up to make the stop is Vince Calhoun again for Eastern Michigan.
And this is part two of that dynamic rushing attack that Western Michigan has right there. As you see, Bogan, 187 pounds, 5'7". He's able to hide behind those linemen, does an excellent job of not seeing anything in the interior of the offensive line and bouncing that to the outside, using his speed that he has right there to pick up a first down.
We talk about the stable of running backs for P.J. Fleck. Keep in mind that Franklin had 1,550 yards, 24 touchdowns as a freshman. And then Fleck admitted that Bogan came in and actually jumped him last year. Now they're sharing time, and they're best of friends. This one's complete. It's Davis. Davis over the 40, up to the 45-yard line, and he's finally spun down at the 49. Making the tackle is Ike Spearman, the middle linebacker, a gain of 18 this time for the Broncos.
Yeah, and Ike Spearman is a good senior linebacker from St. John, Indiana, but guess what? You don't want him on an All-American and one of the top receivers in the nation, let alone the MAC, one-on-one out there in the slot. Excellent tackle for Spearman to get him down, but again, Eastern Michigan's going to have to keep their on it because right now we've seen them put Corey Davis in the slot a number of times, Mike.
Davis, that's his 44th catch this year. He had 90 last season. Terrell, far side, and this one's complete. It's going to be Michael Henry, the senior out of Flint, Michigan. And they're going to move the chains. Another first down for the Broncos. They're on the move again, picking up 11 this time for P.J. Fleck.
Yeah, they're going to that passing attack we've talked about, and we know that rushing attack for Western Michigan is something that is extremely dominant, one of the best in the nation, and obviously tops of the MAC. But again, it's the passing attack that's loosening that up, and right now they're having success moving the football after the turnover.
Ball at the 43, a scoreless ball game here from Kalamazoo. Broncos trying to capitalize after the fumble recovery. They keep it on the ground. They get to the 40-yard line. We'll see if that was Franklin or Bogan. It's Franklin again, picks up 3. Fleck telling us that there's no 1 and 2, not even a 1 and 1A. They are level. They are equal. And depending on the situation, that's who's going to run the football. But Fleck tells them from day one that the best guy will play. And they've done a great job recruiting. He told me yesterday they might have 2 running backs that are better than these 2, waiting in the wings right now. And this one's Dwayne Eskridge, the freshman from Bluffton, Indiana. And the Broncos, another first down for Western Michigan.
And they're getting the wide receivers involved in the running game right there. Just a simple wide receiver sweep. Everyone sees a wide receiver go into motion. They snap it right when he's behind the left tackle, left guard. That way the timing is down pat. And he takes his coach down right there on the sideline. Coach being a former wide receiver, all MAC wide receiver himself at Northern Illinois. He's got to learn to get out the way of that. But, again, he was a wide receiver. He's used to catching the football. Defensive guys, we had to put our hand down and got away from that.
Eskridge picks up 8 on the play. Out of the gun, here's play action. Terrell over the middle, and it's Thompson. Thompson spins inside the 10, the 5, touchdown. Carrington Thompson, that's number 3 for Thompson this year. 32 yards on the scoring strike, and that's number 18 for Terrell as far as touchdown passes.
Take a picture right here. All it is a deep dig route. Thompson does an excellent job of getting the senior of knowing where the defender is. He knows that after he catches that dig, he's going to be able to come inside to try to make the tackle. He does a great job of hitting triangle, which is the spin move, and being able to get out of that and find his way into the end zone for the first touchdown of the day.
Butch Hampton on for the extra point, the young freshman out of Oklahoma. He splits the uprights. And it all led with the turnovers. They capitalize after the fumble, Brad.
Well, and that's one of the things that have to happen. Turnovers lead to success offensively. Gives Western Michigan the 7-zip lead as we go to break. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
If you are age 85 or...
Capitalize 6 plays, 83 yards to grab the 7-0 lead as we light up the Mid-American Conference scoreboard. Here's what's transpired on this October afternoon so far. Earlier today, Toledo remains undefeated in conference play with a victory over Central Michigan. Bobcats by 4 over Kent State in the 4th. Miami 40-26 over Bowling Green in the 4th. And Ball State by a field goal over Akron. Akron was averaging 37 points until they met these Broncos and lost 41-0 a week ago. So the deep men right now, Jerron Johnson and Justin Moody. for the Eagles of Eastern Michigan. Butch Hampton ready to kick things off, the freshman from Piedmont, Oklahoma. Deeper in the broadcast, PJ Fleck telling us an interesting story about Butch Hampton and pressure kicks. Stick around, folks. It's a good story. This one's going to be a relatively short kick, and it's going to be taken by Johnson. Johnson gets over the 20, and he gets up to the 25. Jerron Johnson gets to the 25 as we go back and take a look at the touchdown pass. Third touchdown catch by Thompson this year.
Right there, you see a little misdirection, but max protect. They keep the tight end in. They obviously fake to the running back, and he goes out. Quarterback Zach Terrell does an excellent job of seeing he's got one-on-one man coverage right there. Because of the run, they have committed people to the run, and then that opened up the pass attack deep. Carrington Thompson is able to find that deep dig area, which is just beyond the linebackers, Mike, and in front of the safeties. He makes the catch, and all you have to do in man-to-man coverage is make a guy miss, and he takes it into the end zone for pay dirt.
Terrell was 5 for 5 on that 83-yard drive. Now we'll see if a rollback can get something going. They had the 38-yard run. Here's a little flip. Good read by the defense. But Erickson tries to make something out of nothing, which he does. He gets up close to the 30-yard line, so picks up 2, maybe 3 on the play. Or check it. That's not Erickson either. There's numbers. I apologize, folks. Number 23 is not even on the board here, but number 23, that was Sergio Bailey. So Bailey is on the board as a wide receiver. But again, these numbers are... I'll let you start calling out the numbers. How's that, partner?
I'm just glad it's not snowing, because then we really couldn't see the numbers.
A little slant pattern up over the middle and up near the 40-yard line. It's going to be a first down. And we'll see who the receiver is as they unclear the pile. It's going to be 21. That's Antoine Porter.
And a good throw there by Robeck. Again, we talked about him being hot. Is able to find a window. It comes off of the play action as well. Play action is going to be huge. That's why you continue to see them trying to run the football, as you do right here with another big run by Sergio Bailey, number 23. Again, he's a wide receiver.
33.
And it's 33. I told you we're going to have fun with this. You know what's going to happen? I'm just going to say that guy for the rest of the day. It'll be that guy that's carrying the football.
That guy was Breck Turner. That time picks up 9. Here, flip near side. Good read defensively. Phillips, the defensive back, came up, and it was Sergio Bailey who caught the ball and had nowhere to go.
See, I knew Sergio Bailey was somewhere around the football. It was just a play later. And they have to be careful with Darius Phillips. You talked about it, Mike, as you see right here. It's just a quick, again, try to get a wide receiver screen, get out there, get some good blocking. But number 4, Darius Phillips, the All-American, does an excellent job of being able to fight through and read that. Sometimes in zone coverage, that's going to be there. In man coverage, you have to be careful, because Phillips can step in front of that and take it all the way to the house, as he'll know he'll have help over the top.
5 wide receivers on a 3rd down and 5 situation. Trips to the top of your screen. Eagles are 45% on the year converting 3rd down. Robeck over the middle and over the back. No penalty flag. But the Eagles would have a legitimate gripe right there, I think, as Phillips. Although you're a defensive player, you might disagree with that.
Well, listen, as a former linebacker and always a defensive player until God calls me home, this was great defense, but unfortunately, I do think, in all honesty, he got there a little bit early, as you see him jump over the back right there of Bailey and get there just a tad early. They try to go to backside slant of trips. Give Phillips credit for understanding how they were going to try to attack him. Bailey does an excellent job of getting there. He may have gotten a little early. Referees let him play football. I like it. These are good MAC officials. Let him play a little defense and play a little football.
Whistle right after the punt, or right before the punt left the foot of Austin Barnes.
Before the snap, false start, kicking team, number 16, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
We mentioned Western Michigan averaging about 5 penalties a game. Eastern Michigan just under 6, 5.8. Nothing too egregious. I'm sure they'd like to get that down to 2 or 3.
And Eastern Michigan, Mike, has to be very, very careful here. You talked about the explosiveness that Phillips has in the return game this year already, averaging 15 yards a punt return, a touchdown, long of 66. There's a lot of green grass. They have to make sure they do an excellent job of covering, and the punter has to do an excellent job, that being Austin Barnes, of making sure number 4, Phillips, does not get that football in his hand. He is explosive and a game breaker.
Barnes averaging over 46, number 2 in the MAC. With a long of 65, and there's the timeout on the field.
This will be a 30-second team timeout.
And it's going to be an official timeout, it looks like. No, it's going to give Western Michigan call the timeout before the punt. So Western Michigan uses their first of 3 here in the first half, and we'll keep it right here in the Kalamazoo. You know, Brad, it looked like the clouds were starting to roll in to the city, and then Eastern Michigan fumbled. And as the Broncos started the drive, it seems like the skies opened up and the sun really started shining, especially on that touchdown.
Well, it's perfect and beautiful, fall weather here in Kalamazoo. And as you said, we look out here, great view, right here overlooking, seeing all the trees changing colors, and great crowd. As you take a look right there, great shot from our camera crew to bring you guys what Mike and I are seeing from up here at the beautiful stadium here. Great day for MAC football here on ASN. And we appreciate you guys joining in, and it's going to be a heck of a football game. So make sure you get your popcorn and have your beverages and sit down and enjoy the game with Mike and I and all the crew here from ASN.
So Phillips standing at the 10-yard line. Barnes now will punt this just inside his 30. It's a high kick. Phillips waves his arm for the fair catch at the 15. So that's where the Broncos will have their next possession, at the 15-yard line with 6:56 to go in quarter number 1. Broncos on top, 7-0.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
On top, 7-0. Coming up next on ASN, it's a Conference USA East Division matchup. The red-hot Monarchs of Old Dominion, winners of 3 in a row, take on the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. They're coming off last Saturday's 44-43 double overtime win over Middle Tennessee. Great football game. That's all coming up next. 7 o'clock right here on ASN. Broncos going 83 for their only score. This drive opens up at the 15-yard line after the 45-yard punt. Eskridge again. Eskridge up over the 20-yard line. I'm told Eskridge was the 100 and 200-meter champion in the state of Indiana, so he's got some wheels.
Yeah, I would say so. And you see that's why they're getting him space. If Eastern Michigan doesn't adjust to that by getting the linebacker out when they put him in motion, that's like taking candy from a baby right there. I mean, he's just picking up, as you see right there, they're just lining up and throwing it out to him. So Eastern Michigan defensively is going to have to make that adjustment, Mike.
Eskridge picked up 8 on the first play, picked up the first down on the second play, another 8, so 16 in the last 2 plays for Dwayne Eskridge, holding a freshman out of Bluffton, Indiana. Building a program, 12 of the 22 offensive players on the depth chart have redshirted. 11 of the 22 are freshmen or sophomores. There's a runner right up the middle against the Eastern Michigan defensive front. Talking with Kirk Shiraka, the offensive coordinator for Western Michigan. He says arguably Eastern Michigan could have the best defensive front four in the Mid-American Conference.
Well, and it starts and stops with their captain, number 52, Pat O'Connor, as they call him. Pac is, from Chicago, Illinois. His father is one of the Chicago firefighters. Tough guy. Missed most of last year, came back, and he leads the team with 9.5 tackles for losses. One of the tops in the MAC in sacks for losses, and sacks as well, Mike. So they got to keep an eye on 52, and that's why Coach said that.
Davis again, first down right at the midfield stripe. Tough to guard him one-on-one.
We're going to take a look right here, and they're trying to get O'Connor. We just were talking about him again. They're keeping the tight end in there, mash him down. You have a tight end and a tackle, and he still finds a way to get out of the double team. Great counter move and be able to get a hit on the quarterback. So you'll see a lot of that. They're going to make sure that Pat O'Connor is not going to dominate this game and control the line of scrimmage as much as possible.
Davis picks up 21. This is Bogan. Bogan gets to the 45. Maybe a yard or two for the Broncos that time. Corey Davis had 8 for 63 and a couple of touchdowns last week. He already has 10 touchdown receptions here in 2016. Just 4 more. He'll tie the MAC record, 5, and that record will belong to him. Bogan picked up 3 on that play for Western Michigan, so it's 2nd and 7 now inside 5 minutes here in quarter number 1. Bogan, a 1,000-yard season last year after Franklin 2 years ago rushed for 1,550. I just shake my head when P.J. Fleck said he might have 2 better running backs sitting in the wings redshirting this year.
And there's a lot of coaches out there that wish they had one of these talented young men in the backfield.
There's a rush, and that's going to be a fumble. It's going to be picked up by the Eagles, and they rumble and stumble. Number 87. Wow. or 97 make that. For Eastern Michigan, kind of rumbled and stumbled, and he had a lot of green in front of him. That's Kwani Figueroa, a sophomore from Fair Lawn, New Jersey.
Get it, big man, but you're going to see right here, look at the dominance on the backside right there as you talk about number 90, Jeremiah Harris, sophomore. Lambertville, Michigan does an excellent job of what we call bull rushing his blocker back into the quarterback strip. And then, of course, you talked about it, big number 97, Kwani Figueroa, the sophomore from Fair Lawn, New Jersey, scoops and unfortunately is not able to score. That's why big fellas control the line of scrimmage. We had a pitch team, Mike, when I was playing, that if you weren't a certain speed or a guy, you had to turn around and look for somebody faster to pitch it to. That way they could get it to the end zone. But an excellent job, soft hands by Figueroa being able to scooping that up. You see a lot of defensive linemen and the big guys because their gloves, their hands are so wrapped up battling in the trenches of not being able to pick up that fumble. Huge turnover right there for the Eagles defense. Big momentum shift in Western Michigan side of the football. But excellent job by that guy you see in your monitor right there, number 90, Jeremiah Harris, who's done an excellent job. Second on the team in tackles for losses, third in sacks. And just look at him. That left arm is long arm. Quarterback doesn't feel him. Terrell doesn't feel him and step up. And then as you see, 90 does an excellent job of stripping. And there's Figueroa, pick it up. And that white line at about the 30-yard line made the tackle.
Harris, a redshirt sophomore out of Lambertville, Michigan. I'm glad you ID'd him because looking down on the field, I could have swore it was number 94 that picked up that ball or caused the fumble.
Well, I figured it was process of elimination. I figured it was 0-0 or 90, and there's no 0-0 on the monitor, so I went with 90.
Well, you talk about depth, and only his third year, Chris Creighton. Figueroa is not even on the depth chart, and they said they had the best defensive front in the Mid-American Conference, so that's pretty impressive. They're going to the bench. Direct snap, and not too much to talk about there. They get to the 35-yard line, maybe 3 yards if they're lucky on the play. Direct snap to number 33. That's Breck Turner, the redshirt freshman.
And you'll see the replay. But what I like right here, again, direct snap, simple wildcat, just trying to get him. He does an excellent job of not losing yards and being able to fight back toward the line of scrimmage. But they trust Breck Turner, a freshman. After the big turnover, get his confidence back, and that's what you want to do. And that's a great job there by Coach Creighton and his staff of being able to trust a young man, show him. You make a turnover, you make a mistake, and get out there and make a play.
Heavy rush. Pass over the middle, and it's caught inside the 25-yard line. So on the receiving end, it's going to be number 21. It's Antoine Porter, so it looks like Porter's going to be the favorite receiver for Roback so far.
Yeah, and they're doing a great job putting him in a slot. Simple cross around. You see Roback is sliding to his left and still has a strong enough arm to deliver that football right where it needed to be in a great spot right there for Porter to catch it and convert it for a first down to keep this drive going for the Eagles of Eastern Michigan.
Obi Jackson on the tackle for the Broncos that time. Keep it on the ground and looking for the edge and almost turn the corner. Again, we'll wait for the number 26. That's going to be Willie Parker, true freshman out of Florida. That's his first carry. Picks up 7 on the play.
Yeah, you talk about a true freshman. Everybody, they're rotating these backs. We've seen Erickson, we've seen Turner, now you see Willie Parker. His first carry of the season, being able to come in there. He does an excellent job, 5'9", 182, of being able to bounce around. Those kids from Florida can run. They get him in there. He doesn't see anything in between the tackles, gets on the edge, and picks up 7 yards.
Parker again. Parker is wrapped up immediately by Caleb Bailey, the Defensive Player of the Week in the West just last week here for the Mid-American Conference. Brad, I was talking about the great sunshine. Maybe we're better off with clouds because the sun's shining on those numbers right now. From up here, it's even more difficult to read.
Yeah, and you see, right there, Harris being able to, Parker being able to pop in, but you talked about Caleb Bailey being able to do an excellent job of falling back from his linebacker position to make that tackle. As you see Eastern Michigan, Mike, try to push forward here on a simple, high percentage play to convert the first down to keep this drive going here in the red zone.
Robert Spillane, the junior out of Oak Park, Illinois, making the initial contact. Defensive coordinator Ed Pinkham couldn't say enough good things about him. They said his IQ for football is off the charts. Spillane, the leader on that defense. Twice named the Player of the Week in the West Division already. As a matter of fact, 7 weeks into the season, 10 players have been honored by the Mid-American Conference here at Western.
Wow.
Roback looking over the middle, lofts it up, and it's incomplete. Looking for Antoine Porter.
Dangerous throw, lobbing that up in the end zone. And number 4, Darius Phillips is back there lurking along with number 17, Justin Ferguson. We're going to take a peek right here. They have trips formation to the left. You see basically it's triple slants and coverage over the top. As you see, number 17 just talked about it. He does an excellent job of coming off the inside of number 1, be able to help out over the top of number 2 to force that incompletion.
So it's a 2nd and goal. At the 9-yard line for the Eagles, trying to tie this football game up. 4 wideouts, trips to the top of your screen. Roback, little quarterback draws inside the 5, and Roback dives for the touchdown. And he's in. So Brogan Roback picks up 9 and the score. Sent 3 receivers wide to the left, and that was a quarterback draw from the get-go.
Oh, excellent call by the offensive coordinator, Kalen DuBois of Eastern Michigan. He sees that there's only one linebacker right there in the middle of the screen. He's got 2 blockers out there. All Roback has to do is make sure he follows the butts of his blockers, stay in between them. Beautiful job of him doing that to get his first rushing touchdown of the season.
So 7-6, and now they lean on Paul Fricano, a redshirt freshman out of Rochester who's perfect in the PAT department. There's a discussion going on at about the 18-yard line with the officials. They're going to take a look at this, see if his knee was down. All that ball has to do is touch the front of that white line. So our replay official, Bill Loudy, he's been busy already here in the first quarter in Kalamazoo.
Yeah, and it looks like he may have stretched over. I don't see the knee down. You can't see it right there, but you can definitely see the football has broken the plane, of the goal line.
Touchdown stands. Touchdown Eastern Michigan.
So Chris Creighton watches his team after the turnover. Both teams capitalizing on turnovers now. 7 plays, 37 yards, less than 3 minutes. And Fricano's on for the extra point. Fricano, 27 of 27 so far here in 2016. Make it 28 of 28. We're all tied up at 7-7. Again, Brad, it's defense stepping up and getting it done.
I love it. Strip, sack, forced fumble, scoop. Doesn't score. Offense takes it in. 7-7, tight game here live on ASN. We'll be right back.
Your insurance company won't replace the full
7 apiece here in Kalamazoo, Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan. Take a look at some of the players of the week. Let's go first in the East Division. James Morgan, that young quarterback we saw out of Green Bay, playing for Bowling Green. 5 touchdowns, 335 yards. Zach Smirchik out of Miami with his best defensive effort. And how about Joe Davidson from Bowling Green? We saw him earlier in the season. He had an 82-yard punt, a 60-yard punt, and a well-executed fake punt against Toledo. We'll take a look at the West after the kick. Phillips back to receive the kick from Brendan Rainius. 7-7 ball game. Chris Creighton said that there are no Achilles heels with this Western team, but there's no fear with Eastern. They're excited to play this football game. And they're all tied up at 7. Phillips backs up, and that's the second time that it goes out of the end zone, so the second time they'll start from the 25-yard line. Take a look at the players of the week in the West. 3 of them are playing in this football game this afternoon. Of course, we mentioned Brogan Roback with his 347. You mentioned the 3 touchdowns against the Bobcats. Jarvion Franklin set a single-game record here at Western with 281 yards against Akron. Caleb Bailey from Western Michigan, 7 tackles, a pick in that shutout victory. And Nick Ellis, the Toledo punter, with a career-long 69-yard punt. Those are the players of the week in the Mid-American Conference, East and West. After this play, I got a couple of other players who probably deserved good recognition.
A lot of good football players, Mike, in the MAC this year. There are every year, but they're really shining brightly this year. And it's tough competition. If you want to get one of those awards, you better step your game up on Saturdays here in the MAC.
They'll play a pump fake and looking downfield for Thompson, incomplete. Other players, James Gilbert, Ball State, 264 rushing. He's averaging 122 a game. Logan Woodside from Toledo, 322, 4 touchdowns in that win over Bowling Green. And
imagine
the
that.
list goes on.
You're throwing for 322 yards and 4 touchdowns, and you're still didn't have the best day throwing the football. You rush for, what was it you said,
264.
264, and you're still not getting player of the week. You get out of the locker room after the game, you get on the bus, and you probably say to yourself, I'm going to get that award to share with my family and my university and program, and then someone has 281 and beats you.
Here's Corey Davis, driven out of bounds, shy of the 30-yard line. That's going to bring up a third down situation for Western Michigan. They're 55% on third down this year. 0 for 1 here so far this afternoon. 55% is the best in the MAC. Before we saw that strip sack of Terrell, they had just fumbled once all season long.
It's amazing.
6 weeks with no turnovers. In the fumble last week, Davon Tucker, the young running back, I asked the coaching staff yesterday if he was teased or if he got the cold shoulder, and they said, no, he just got a big hug. Give him a big hug. And there's a nice hole, and going to be shy of the first down, but the hole closed. A good open field tackle by Eastern Michigan. And that running back.
We'll take a look at this from the end zone. Again, it was third and long, but the defense was a little bit soft right here. He does an excellent job of finding a hole. You see the great blocking right there. Linebacker makes a tackle. And now, because of the situation being 4th and 1, Coach Fleck has decided they're going to try to see if possibly going for this, even though they are pretty deep in their territory, only about the 34-yard line. So they're going to think about this and probably let the clock run out. As you see, there's 9 seconds to go in the quarter, and maybe have a little more opportunity to think about this.
You talk about a deep stable that P.J. Fleck has. The reason I paused, because Franklin and Bogan have been carrying the load, but that was number 3, Fabian Johnson, getting his first carry. And you're right, time has expired. We played 15 minutes here in Kalamazoo. Western Michigan, one of 3 FBS schools at 7-0 this week, and right now they are in a 7-7 tie with the Eagles of Eastern Michigan. Second quarter coming up on the other side.
If you are age 85...
Stadium in Kalamazoo tied up at 7 apiece. Broncos and Eagles, as we take a look at some of the fall colors here in Michigan and some finals. Toledo, as we mentioned, goes to 3-0 with a victory over Central Michigan. Ohio, that's a final over Kent State. Miami beats Bowling Green, and at halftime, Akron and Ball State. Ball State by 10. And Mike New, one of 3 new head coaches here in the Mid-American Conference. Ball at the 34-yard line. It's going to be interesting. The Eagles have been a very, very good second half team. So if they can hang tough here in the second 15 minutes here, head to halftime, still in this football game, it's going to be interesting to see what transpires here in the second half.
Well, defensively, Mike, the Eagles' defense has done a great job because Western Michigan. Okay.
Eastern Michigan has taken their first time out of the half. It's a 30-second team timeout.
So each team now has used up one of their timeouts here in the first half.
Yeah, so for those sitting at home, the timeout was used with 2 seconds to go in the first quarter, so now they have to go back and change field position. And, there's a little bit of wind blowing, so that may be a factor that coach is thinking about, a reason why they did that, to try to get that field position battle. Because, again, if one of those punts gets caught up in that wind, it's one of the situations. As you see, looking at our flag there, Mike, that thing is standing erect. God bless America. As it's blowing, hard from left to right. So that could be a situation right there. And in this game right now, it's a tight game. Field position could be key.
Well, Chris Creighton right there didn't win 73% of his games in 6 years at Drake for nothing. A lot of respect between both head coaches here.
Yeah, and what I was saying before is Western Michigan, Mike, in the first quarter has outscored opponents 84-24. So Eastern Michigan's defense has done a great job.
Now that's going to be the final play of the first quarter. That's something you don't see every day. But we'll keep it right here inside the Waldo Stadium. Actually, I don't know if I've seen that ever before, or maybe once before. But speaking of bizarre incidents, when Eastern Michigan was playing Charlotte this year, Jalen Pickett had a pick 6. Charlotte had multiple personal fouls on the play. So Eastern kicked off from the Charlotte 20-yard line. Now, I've never seen that before.
No.
They tried the onside kick. It was unsuccessful. Charlotte recovered, but there's something you don't see every day. So Chris Creighton right now in his third season, they're looking for win number 6, and if they do win it, they'll be bowl eligible. Last bowl game they played in was 1987 when they won the Mid-American Conference and beat San Jose State in the California Bowl. But look at this, huh? 3 consecutive road games. They say it's not easy to win on the road. Here's a team trying to turn the corner. I liked what Coach Creighton said. From outside, it seems like we turned the corner, but it sounds like he wasn't ready to say we've arrived yet.
Well, yeah, no, because there's still a work in progress, but an excellent job of Coach Creighton and his staff just to change the culture. You know, you talk about 3 straight on the road. They had 5 of their first 8 games of this season have been on the road, and this is their second back-to-back stint. They did it early in the season against Missouri and Charlotte, and then they had Ohio last week with a win, and now here on the road at Western Michigan this week.
Franklin, left side, and he had some running room coming up to make the stop from the secondary. After a gain of 5, it could have been a lot more, but Vince Calhoun, number 10, came up to make the stop.
Yeah, he's 4th on the team in tackles. You know, as again, you take an idea right there. That's what you want from your safety. Again, you're the last line of defense. If he's able to knife through there, you want your safety to be able to make a tackle, and that's a big tackle on a big running back. You know, Jarvion Franklin goes about 228, 230 pounds, and Calhoun's about 175 and a freshman. So excellent job by that freshman to make that play.
Over the middle, this one's complete. Nice spin move, still on his feet. Michael Henry. Henry's inside the 25-yard line. And the Broncos are on the move again.
And again, you'll see right here a good protection by the offensive line. And Terrell does an excellent job of being able to find, again, another one of those deep digs in the middle of the field. That's something Eastern Michigan's defense is going to have to make the adjustment of those linebackers. Again, they have to honor the run fake, which is sucking them up and on the run, and then that's opening up that passing window deep behind them.
This is the NCAA active quarterbacks right now. Cooper Rush from Central Michigan, over 11,000. And Nick Mullins, we've seen him from Southern Miss. Those numbers coming into today. Terrell, number 3 on the list with 10,168. He went over 10,000 in that Akron game last week when he passed for 347. The all-time touchdown list in the Mid-American Conference. Also we'll get to that graphic deeper in the broadcast, but Western Michigan with 3 quarterbacks listed in that top 10.
Yeah, I mean, look at those guys right there. Pennington, you know, obviously Byron Leftwich,
defense, number 90,
and Big Ben.
Number 90 moved into the neutral zone, causing the offense player to react. 5-yard penalty, first down.
2 penalties now for 10 yards for Chris Creighton and the Eagles. Second down, 7 yards to go. The ball at the 15-yard line after that big 36-yard gain by Michael Henry. Broncos in the red zone this year, 94%, 80% touchdowns coming into the ball game. This is going to be Bogan this time. Bogan, again, to clarify, Franklin with 1,500 yards. He was the freshman of the year and the offensive player of the year in the Mid-American Conference. Bogan goes over 1,000 in the bowl game, 216 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was the offensive MVP. And P.J. Fleck has had four freshmen of the year, 4 straight years, starting with Jamie Wilson, who's now at Bethune-Cookman. Corey Davis was the freshman of the year. Then, of course, Franklin and Bogan.
It's a great job to recruiting. You got these talent. You bring guys into your system, Mike, that know how to play the game of football and be successful.
Franklin again. Franklin spins inside the 10 down to about the 7-yard line. And so the Broncos are knocking on the door again. Picked up 4. Franklin stays in the ball game. Franklin coming in with 6 touchdowns. Bogan has 5. Pass far side. And whistle will blow this dead. One of the Eastern Michigan players was down, and the Broncos, although I'm not sure if the Broncos heard a whistle until that ball was snapped. That's to number 98. That's going to be Chris Hendricks, a sophomore out of Fruitport, Michigan. All right, Brad, what do you do if the officials don't call the play dead? The Broncos, you can't blame them from snapping the football.
Well, they're going to hurry up. Obviously, in the red zone, they don't want the defense to be able to substitute. But, right there, that's the officials. Player safety is first and foremost. We know that. So the officials did a good job of making sure that they blew the whistle once they saw him on the ground.
Chris Creighton, an All-American quarterback during his days at Kenyon College. P.J. Fleck led Northern Illinois in receiving back-to-back years. Brad, P.J. Fleck was I know you were a basketball player and a football player, but P.J. Fleck was All-State in 3 different sports, 3 consecutive years.
Yeah, good athlete, good football player. A couple years, obviously, in the National Football League. And again, when you have the ability as a coach, and there's a lot of players that haven't been successful coaches, but he's one of the guys that has taken what he's done on the field as a former All-MAC performer and what he learned in the National Football League and from other good coaches, and he's doing a great job of building this program to be what it is right now as they continue to move forward. You talked about the talent that they've gotten of freshman of the year, and they're just continually to rebuild here at Western Michigan.
2nd and 5, Franklin trying to move that pile towards the goal line. If he gets down to the 2-yard line, it's going to be a 1st and goal from the 2. And it looks like he's got it, so it's a 1st and goal at about the 2-yard line. Hurry up offense out of the shotgun. Again, it's Franklin. Franklin pounds his way in, and it's going to be a touchdown. Jarvion Franklin, the junior, out of Illinois, with his 7th rushing touchdown from 2 yards out. So, Brad, that's going to be 36 for him. He's only a junior, and the school record is 39.
Yeah, I think he's close. He may be able to get that today if they get on a hot streak. But, again, just lowers his head, barrels into, follows the big offensive line that he has in front of him. A lot of good players up front for him. And then you see Coach Fleck's reaction right there. Big 4th down conversion deep in his own territory that results in points for the Broncos.
Butch Hampton, the freshman from Oklahoma, comes on for the extra point. And so the Broncos have had a 6-play, 83-yard drive, and that one goes 11 plays, 75 yards in 4 minutes and 22 seconds.
And you'll see them just pull, the tight end around, and all he has to do, again, the offensive line, just get a little bit of movement, control the line of scrimmage, and knock the defense back just enough, and Franklin will do the rest, as you see right there. Again, you kind of see him bobble that handoff a little bit, but he does an excellent job of putting it in the cradle, and then 2 hands right when he's going into the contact zone right at the goal line.
It's under review, so this is the 3rd score that they've gone upstairs to take a look at. So again, Bill Laudy earning his paycheck here in Kalamazoo today. There's Franklin. We mentioned Franklin and Bogan, best of friends now. They help each other. Matter of fact, they carved pumpkins together this week. Tim O'Day, our referee, awaits the call from upstairs.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field of touchdown stands as called. Touchdown, Western Michigan.
So Zach Terrell already with a touchdown pass. He came in with 13 touchdowns in his last 4 games. And you mentioned Franklin at the top of the broadcast over the last 4 games, what he's been doing. A lot of damage.
Yeah, 582 yards, Mike. 582. He's averaging just shy of 200 yards rushing in the last 3 games. He started kind of slow, 216. But, you talk about Bogans on the other side, having 4 100-yard games.
Hampton's good with the PAT. 12 minutes, 13 seconds to go before halftime. Broncos in front by a touchdown. Broncos looking for their 10th straight victory dating back to last year, up 14-7. Join ASN next Saturday afternoon, 3:30 kickoff. Another MAC showdown as the Redhawks from Miami travel over to Ypsilanti to meet the same Eagles of Eastern Michigan. It's coming up at 3:30 next Saturday here on the American Sports Network. Great day for football here in the state of Michigan. A little bit of chill in the air. Leaves are starting to turn. 2 teams going at it. Of course, Army, Navy, and Air Force, they have the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. At stake here, the Michigan MAC Trophy. Western and Eastern and Central Michigan. Eastern and Central will play on November 22nd. Western's already beaten the Chippewas. The Broncos currently holding the trophy. Now, despite the recent struggles, the Eagles have had it 4 times, though, most recently in 2012. And the Eagles are going to take a knee. Jerron Johnson, the junior out of Moreno Valley, California, takes a knee, and they'll take it at the 25-yard line, trailing 14-7 with 12:13 to go before halftime.
Yeah, he had to take that knee. Number 7, Dwayne Eskridge, the wide receiver, who's having a big day so far, was running down on that kickoff. And you talked about earlier, 100 and 200-meter dash champion in the state of Indiana, and he showed why. He literally was almost there by the time he caught the football off the kickoff.
Brogan Roback, only a redshirt junior, out of Maumee, opens up at the 25-yard line, trailing by 7. They're going to keep it on the ground. It's going to be Breck Turner, number 33. Hey, buddy, I got that right. It was 33 that time. I just kind of rolled the dice. And
Listen, I'm giving up on it.
He's a redshirt freshman out of Norwalk, Ohio. Erickson, a redshirt sophomore out of Clarkston, Michigan. And keep in mind, though, that Shaq Van, a captain in his redshirt sophomore year, is out with a shoulder injury. How's that for an open field tackle?
Run your feet. Beautiful job right there of being able to make the tackle. As you see right there, again, number 6, Ashante Brown, one of the top players, does an excellent job of sitting back in zone coverage. It was a simple bootleg, but then he's going to come up right there, head across the thigh board, and then run your feet. That's excellent. That's teaching tape, as we called it, for the young football players out there, of driving his feet, running his hips, and being able to knock the offensive player back.
Brown moving from safety to linebacker this year. Eastern Michigan, 1 of 2 so far, converting 3rd down. The receiver on that play was Nigel Kilby, a redshirt freshman. They call him the baby giraffe, 6'7", 239, already with 3 touchdowns. And there's going to be another timeout on the field. So the Eagles of Eastern Michigan calling their 2nd timeout.
Take this timeout as well. Timeout on the field.
So we're going to take a break too. 14-7. They'll have one more timeout before halftime here in Kalamazoo. Hence, smiling right now, up 14-7 here in the 2nd quarter. Remember to join us next Saturday for an ASN triple header. At noon, it's going to be Wagner, UMass. 3:30, Western Kentucky in Conference USA goes down to Boca Raton to take on the Owls of FAU. They'll wrap things up in Conference USA. Marshall heading down to Southern Miss. They'll take on the Golden Eagles in Hattiesburg. The action begins noon Eastern. Check your local listings. Of course, we just mentioned the Eastern Michigan-Miami game. Eastern Michigan-Miami fans will be able to see that game. Again, check your local listings. 3rd down and 8 for the Eagles. We mentioned before that timeout, 1 of 2 so far here today. Roback under center, plenty of time. Ooh, good catch going over the middle. Robert Spillane lays some wood, but the ball is complete. It's going to be a 1st down for the Eagles.
Yeah, one of the top linebackers, you see, does an excellent job of dropping to his curl zone, comes back and delivers a clean legal hit, left shoulder right there, a step earlier, and he may be able to pick that off. Excellent job. That young man right there leads the team in tackles, tied for 1st on the team in interceptions and forced fumbles, and you see right there, he is all over the field doing his job, but then able to come back and make some plays.
Receiver was Breck Turner, the running back. That's his 4th catch this year, near side. This one's almost picked off. And if it would have been picked, it would have been a pick 6 for number 6, Asante Brown, out of Mona Shores High School over in Muskegon.
Yeah, and that's one, Roback has to be careful about. He takes it, double pumps it a little too long. Another one of those linebackers are doing an excellent job of being able to take the flat. Look, the cover 4 zone coverage that they have, which means the linebackers drop a little bit with depth, but then once anything crosses their face into the flat, you take them, and Asante Brown does an excellent job of breaking on that football. Roback is lucky, as you said, it wasn't taken the other way by number 6, 4-6.
This is going to be Beck again, and he's wrapped up immediately. So good pursuit that time. And again, it's Spillane, Robert Spillane. Mentioned the fact that Ed Pinkham says he can come to the sideline. It's a cliche when they say he's a coach on the field. Well, Binkham said he is a coach on the field. He sees everything.
Well, and look at him running downhill. That's what you love to see as a former linebacker. I love seeing great linebacker play. They have 3 good ones: Ashante Brown, number 6, Caleb Bailey, number 8, and that guy you see right there in your monitor, number 10. Week 3, Mac Defensive Player of the Week, and he's showing you why. Drops in coverage, makes big plays, and then runs downhill as a linebacker to make tackles in the backfield.
Loss of 4 on the play, so 3rd and 15 at the 31. Good pocket, and this one's complete near side up over the 45-yard line. It's going to be number 23, Sergio Bailey, who comes in with 34 catches, averaging about 14 yards a catch.
Yeah, number 18, Sam Beal, was able to bounce him out, the sophomore, but unfortunately not quick enough.
Offside, defense, number 1. The penalty is declined. The play resulted in a first down.
Keon Adams guilty of the infraction, but it's declined naturally after they pick up the first down. They picked up 15 on the pass play. Ball at the 48, play action, coming down, and Beck was the intended receiver. Just over his hands. You got to give him credit, though. You might have heard footsteps, but he still reached out for that football.
Yeah, tough play right there. There was a lot of traffic on the short side of the field, as you see right there. The ball's on the left hash, and there were 3 guys. They didn't get the spacing that they properly needed, and that forced Roback to throw it a little bit longer than he wanted to for his intended receiver.
Mentioned Shaq Van out with the injury, but Erickson and Turner each have had a 100-yard game this year, so 3 running backs going over 100 for the Eagles. Little flip over the middle. This one's complete, and it's inside the 45-yard line. It's the running back, Willie Parker, the true freshman out of Florida. Well, you talk about the recruiting job that P.J. Fleck has done. Well, Chris Creighton, in just his 3rd year, he's been all over the map. I mean, we talked about those receivers, 4 leading receivers, all new to the football team. Parker out of Florida, true freshman, getting a lot of playing time here today. It's Parker with the call. Parker is wrapped up immediately.
You see the offensive linemen are looking to the Eastern Michigan sideline and say, hey, let's go for it. We believe in us. As you see, may have lost a little bit right there. It was close on third and about a yard, half a yard maybe. But the offensive line of Eastern Michigan encouraging Coach Creighton and that offensive staff to go for it. They feel like they can get this against a very good Broncos defense.
Tackle was made by Eric Asua, a sophomore out of Silver Springs, Maryland. 4th down. They're just 1 for 3 this year on 4th down. They'll make it 2 for 5 right now as the big fullback, Levante Robinson, is on the receiving end. That's his 2nd catch this year, and it moves the chains.
Great job. Again, the junior from St. Ed's out in Cleveland, Ohio. Great football program. Simple I formation. Looks like it's going to be a run. Linebackers get sucked up, and they lose Robinson as he's able to slip to the back out in the flat and be able to convert that for a first down. That's something that I'm sure the coaches are going to talk about because, as you said, it's his 2nd catch of the season. He has 0 rushes on the season, so that should have been an alert and indicator for the defense.
Roback going down deep and throws in a double coverage, and somehow I thought Bailey held on to the football, but it's incomplete. Great effort by Sergio Bailey, the junior out of La Mesa, California.
Yeah, again, you see it, max protect, beautiful, beautiful protection right there. You see the hit late, a little bit of tug right there, and Bailey has it in his arms, but you see number 17 does an excellent job of finishing the play. You always talk about finishing on defense. Bailey catches it, a little bit of tug there from Beal, number 18, but number 17, Ferguson, the safety's there to help pull that out.
Wow. Justin Ferguson leads the team with 3 forced turnovers, number 17. Boy, I'm not so sure he didn't have control of that football as he crossed the goal line. But I guess I'm not making that call.
Well, it's tough on the catch is good, buddy. You remember you have to, complete the play or complete the catch, make a football play. He had it, but, you see 17, Ferguson, the redshirt senior from Pembroke Pines, Notre Dame transfer, being able to come there to pull it out right before he hits the ground. I think if a knee hits the ground before it pops out, as we take a look right here in slow-mo, then they may have something to look at. right there. Does he have possession? You see the ball's kind of coming out.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Right there. It's tough.
It's tough. Well, that's Justin Ferguson. Sam Beal,
Heck of an effort, though.
cornerback from Grand Rapids, came over to help out. But again, Bailey, great effort by the wide receiver for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, number 18, Sam Beal, he's only a sophomore, but he's going to have to thank, his senior there in Ferguson for being able to come over the top as a safety and help make that an incompletion, because he was beat for a touchdown that would have tied this game.
So it's 2nd and 10 at the 34-yard line. 4 wideouts, trips to the top of your screen. Near side, and this one's going to be a little push-off. It's going to go against Eastern Michigan, I believe. It was a good effort that time by Bailey, number 23. But if you go back and take a look at it, right before the ball got there, a little push-off on the defender.
Yeah, you see Obi Jackson, one of our cousins. He'll be at the family reunion anyway, from Bloomfield, Michigan. Looks like he may have got a little tug before the catch, but great catch by Bailey.
So what you're trying to say is if you're a Jackson and you play football, you're related somehow?
Some Jacksons,
Some
not
Jacksons.
all. Not all, yeah. If you're a good player and you make good plays, then you'll be there.
Roger that.
You're invited anyway,
Pass
please.
interference. Defense, number 18. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, Sam Beal gets called. Now watch the push here by the receiver, but I guess Beal was hanging on. Didn't really see the push that time by Sergio Bailey.
Well, you see it's clearly 24, so not only are we having problems catching up the numbers, so are the officials. Sam Beal is turned into the official right now, looking around like I wasn't even there. That's clearly 24. Obi Jackson, the redshirt freshman, like we said, 5'10", 155 out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. 2 tackles last week against Akron, and he's getting more and more play time as he gets acclimated into this defense, and that's why they're throwing him out there. But a great throw and catch for the Eagles as they continue to move here in the red zone.
Beck is wrapped up just shy of the 15-yard line. Forward progress should put this at about the 17 at least. Asante Brown again coming over from that linebacker spot, making the initial contact. Brown almost had that pick six. He was a wide receiver at Mona Shores over in Muskegon, so obviously he's got good hands.
Former safety too when he first got here, and they've converted him from a wide receiver to safety and linebacker. I took a similar path coming out of high school as a wide receiver, and University of Cincinnati was a safety for about 3 days till they found out I couldn't cover, and then moved me to linebacker where it all worked out well.
Little fade pattern, good coverage that time by Justin Tranquil, a redshirt freshman out of Indiana.
And they're playing a lot of freshmen. You'll see them. You love how the eyes are in good discipline. Great, jam right there. And then, as you see, Tranquil does an excellent job. In the pros on Sunday, that's a flag after 5 yards. In college, that's a great job of being able to strong arm, take that inside arm, and make sure you force the receiver wider than he wants to do to knock him off his landmark and force an incompletion.
Eagles are 3 for 5 on third down conversions. This is a 3rd and 10 from the 19-yard line. Play action, looking near side, and it's going to be almost picked off.
Two close plays that we've seen Roback get away with. He must have went to chapel the day before the game, because right here you see he throws that short inside. Number 18, Sam Beal, does an excellent job of keeping leverage, keeping inside and underneath in zero coverage. A blitz that was called there by Western Michigan, and unfortunately he drops the interception in the end zone that would have negated the opportunity for the Eagles to get points. But great fundamental defense by Sam Beal.
This will be a 36-yard kick by Paul Fricano, redshirt freshman out of Rochester. He's 10 of 13 on the year. And he nails it. So 6:32 to go. Paul Fricano, 11 of 14 on the year with a long of 46. So this one goes 36. And 3 more points on the board. It's 14-10 right now. Broncos by 4. Back in Kalamazoo, Eagles trail by 4 with 6.5 minutes to go before halftime as we light up the top 20 In the AP poll, Alabama sitting on top, of course. Alabama, they've won 19 straight games. Ohio State, Michigan, that's good to see there. The Buckeyes in Michigan. I hail from the Great Lakes states, so it's good to see that rivalry heating up again. Clemson barely beat NC State. NC State missed the field goal. Houston tops the second 10, and Western Michigan comes in at number 20 at 7-0.
I got a problem. You can't have 2 losses and be in the top 20. Come on, people.
Well, it depends who you are, you know.
I don't care who you are. 2 losses, you don't deserve to be in the top 20.
And the return for Western Michigan that time, that's number 3, Fabian Johnson, senior out of Miami, Florida. And he's hit hard at about the 32 or 33-yard line. And take a look at Eastern Michigan quarterback, Brogan Roback. Johnson returned at 15 yards. So Roback now, he's climbed to number 7 on the all-time passing list at Eastern Michigan. And again, he's missed the first 2 games with that suspension. You look at that list, Charlie Batch is probably the most recognizable name on the list. He's number 2. Walter Church is number 1 at 9,142. But again, Roback at number 7 and climbing. Terrell, play action. There's a pump fake. Plenty of time. Boy, good coverage downfield. Finally lets it go, and it's picked off. That's going to be the first interception that Terrell has thrown this year in Eastern Michigan with the turnover. And it's picked off by number 14 for Eastern Michigan. That's going to be Ross Williams, a redshirt sophomore out of Southfield, Michigan.
Wow, beautiful job. And this is what happens when quarterbacks hold it too long. You know, he went through all his progression. Excellent job of up top. You know, and you see the Ross being able to drop right underneath quarterback Zach Terrell. Never sees him. His first interception that he's thrown in this entire season. Big opportunity for Eastern Michigan after scoring on point. Great protection by the offensive line. He had opportunities to go from first option, second option, third option, and then he holds the ball a little bit too long, and that gives the defense an excellent job. As you see, Ross Williams, number 14, the redshirt sophomore, as you said, Mike from Southfield, to be able to slide underneath and get that big interception on those deep dig routes.
Well, Creighton only in his 3rd year, and you talk about depth. He's doing a good job. Nice hole left side as Turner Beck tries to avoid the tackle, but Beal comes up and stops him, but he's inside Bronco territory with another nice run. But I was going to say, you talk about depth, and usually young teams don't have depth, but Ross, who had the pick, wasn't even on the depth chart.
Yeah, you know, he's a guy, again, they're going to get in there, and that's what happens when coaches are getting players not doing their job. They're going to rotate guys in that will. Ross takes advantage of the opportunity and makes a big play.
The pickup by Breck Turner was 14 yards, and the penalty flag dropped here at about the 47 with 5:55 to go before the half.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So Western Michigan went 6 weeks without a turnover. Now that's their second turnover here today, 3rd in the last 2 weeks.
Well, credit to the Eagles defense, but you'll see a little bit early there on the right-hand side. When you're a big dude, 311 pounds, as you see Big Andrew Wiley, the senior from Midland, Michigan, they're 40 starts. Unbelievable, as an anchor on that right side of the offensive line for the Eagles.
Good coverage downfield, so Roback wisely tucks it and runs. It's interesting talking to Chris Creighton. He said Roback has so much confidence that probably the best play he's made this year actually resulted in a sack. What I mean by that is because in years, that graphic obviously 3rd and 63 is wrong. But, years he would try to force the football, try to thread the needle, kind of like Brett Favre.
Uh-huh. And he's learned, and that's because of the discipline, and that's one thing Coach Creighton and them have talked to him about just be disciplined. Make the plays that are there for you. You don't need to do anything more.
Turner again, and nice job of setting up this play. And take that back, it's one of the tight ends that time. That's 83 coming up with the catch for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, it's Trayshawn Fields. You talk about number 83, but look at this blocking. Great misdirection. Everyone's going to the right, comes back out, and you see those big athletic offensive linemen. Excellent cut right there, but you see number 54 of being able to, and that's the backup right guard, Kajon Armstrong, who does an excellent job, because if he doesn't get that defender on the ground, that defender makes a tackle and it's short. But because he makes that big block, as you see, those big guys, number 75 and number 54, Cole Gardner, the senior, number 75 from Batavia, Illinois, 6'5", 300 pounds, a guy that has 28 starts in his career. And then 54, Kajon Armstrong, excellent job of getting out in space. Great athleticism by those big fellas.
Far side, a lot of bumping and shoving going on. No penalty flag dropped. Darius Phillips is looking at the officials saying, hey, he was hanging all over me. It should have been an offensive interference. The offensive players saying likewise.
Well, and Phillips is a guy that they trust, obviously, in man-to-man coverage because of his, exceptional athletic ability. He does an excellent job. They throw him way out there on the wide side of the field. There's no help. It's just him. And as you see, number 4 won the battle a little bit. Both guys a little pushing and tugging. Great call. Great no call by the officials, just letting them play football.
Intended receiver was Johnny Newplow. 3 of 6 right now for the Eagles as far as converting on third down. Whistle blows this one dead right before the snap. So Western Michigan uses the timeout this time. So each team has used 2 of their 3 with 4 minutes and 41 seconds to go before halftime.
Well, it's important. You want to make sure, and head coach DJ Fleek came running down the sideline like he, in his former wide receiver days, to call that timeout. 3
turnovers in the football game. Again, Western Michigan went 6 weeks without any. They fumbled last week. And now Western Michigan has a couple of turnovers. There's a strip sack.
That led to a touchdown. Right there, big fella got tripped up by the white line that jumped up and got him. And then right here, as we see the big interception right there from Ross Williams to be able to give Eastern Michigan the football as they continue this drive down the field in order, as you said, with 4:41 here to go in the second quarter, down 4 points, trying to just stay in this football. So credit to that defense. They are battling their butt off against one of the best and most explosive offenses in the entire nation, let alone the MAC.
Short yardage situation. It's going to be Breck Turner. And Western Michigan saying he didn't make it. They had to get to the 28-yard line for a first down.
Everyone's holding their fist up. As a former defensive player, you love that when they try to run on third and short, and you hold that fist up to let everybody know it's fourth down, to get this crowd up on their feet if they decide to go for it, and make a play. This is where football games are won and lost. Even though it's early in this game, this is a huge play for both of these teams.
This is their second attempt at fourth down. They converted the first one, went 9 yards. There's the whistle. Blows this dead again. And another timeout was called on the field.
And took their final timeout of the
Western
half.
Michigan using
this
the
will
final
be a 30-second
exactly
team
4
timeout.
minutes to go. They're going to have to put a couple more seconds on the clock, I believe. So 4 minutes to go, 14-10. Western Michigan coming in averaging about 44 points a game.
Pretty explosive.
And Eastern Michigan
32, buddy. So they're both of these offenses. So give credit to both defenses, and that's what you have in tightly contested games with good football teams here in the MAC. You take the numbers and you kind of can throw them out the window because, as you said, 44 points for the Broncos, 32 points, and there's a lot of football and things can happen in college football, as we know. But 32 points a game for the Eagles, and we're sitting here with 24 points combined with 4 minutes to go.
Early in the broadcast, Brad, we mentioned the fact the Eagles a second-half team, and they have scored on 11 of their last 16 second-half possessions. So the second half is going to be interesting here from Kalamazoo.
Yeah, 24 last week in the victory over Ohio. So great point there, Mike.
4th and 1. Bailey in motion. Robeck comes back the other way, all by himself. A big offensive lineman. Penalty flag is dropped as the offensive lineman goes down, number 75. That's going to be Cole Gardner.
Oh, no.
One of the captains.
Great play. I'm not sure if he reported. I didn't hear it, Mike. You got to report as being eligible if you got an ineligible number. We'll see. But an excellent design play. Again, great misdirection. They've had super success on this fast-flowing Broncos defense of being able to make plays on the backside of the formation. So we'll see right here as they're all getting together. I didn't hear him report. Number 75 usually to come in and the referee announces. So now all the referees are getting together to. Did he talk to you?
Talk to you,
Did
exactly.
He talk to you?
That's
Did
exactly
he
what
talk
I
to
was
you?
thinking. And
Coach Creighton right here, they're wondering because that was a great play call, especially in the red zone. And what big hands by Cole Gardner. His first reception, obviously, as an offensive lineman, and he's pointing.
Gardner listed as a fifth-year senior, actually a graduate student with a 3.46 GPA, and he could smell the end zone.
The pass was forward on the previous play and touched by an ineligible player. Therefore, it's illegal touching. The penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, 4th down.
Yep, and that's what we thought it was. Again, big fella gets excited. They practice this all week. Got to give the big lineman some love. Come on, officials. The big fella does his job. He makes sure he leaks out. Big catch right there. We saw this before. Ole Miss and Tunsil had a big play, obviously, in the SEC championship last year. And offensive linemen all across the country say, give me a chance. Look at that big fella rumbling down the sideline. That is not a pretty sight if you're a defensive back seeing a 310-pound person coming at you.
4th down play. Roback. Little fade looking and has it. And is it a touchdown? Did he get in? Yes, touchdown. Eagles on top.
Wow.
Roback gets his 7th scoring strike. This one goes for 29 yards.
Eastern Michigan is here to win this football game, Mike. Again, they have their conversion. They get back 5 yards, and instead of kicking the field goal, they said, we're going to go for it right here. Roback, excellent job. Understands he's got zero coverage. All he's got to do is throw it out there. That is an amazing throw, a great catch. I'm sure they may take a peek at this to see if he got in before, but look at that catch over the shoulder, being able to get into the end zone to give the Eagles the lead right now. Great call by offensive coordinator Kalen DuBois as he continues to make some big, big calls in this football game for the Eastern Michigan offense.
Furcano, 28 of 28, looking for his 29th PAT, and he gets it right there. This has been a good one so far. You look at the series right now. The last time the Eagles won was 2013, 35-32 in overtime. Maybe we're heading that type of ball game here this afternoon.
Yeah, Western Michigan, took Eastern behind the woodshed last year, down in Eastern Michigan's backyard, 58-28. But right now, as you take a peek, look at the protection. Again, quarterback's going to take a hit. He understands it. But as you said, Mike, beautiful throw, excellent catch right here. Look at the protection. Max protect. The linebackers are obviously blitzing. They're a second too late. Roback does an excellent job of throwing it where only his guy, as you said, Antoine Porter, is going to be able to make that catch. And not only does he catch it, he's able to secure it and then have enough strength to get into the end zone.
And Porter with his 4th scoring reception this year. And I apologize for holding off on who pulled it in. But again, I couldn't see that number 21. But Antoine Porter out of San Francisco came in with 27 catches. He's been the favorite target for Roback so far today. This is the first time Western Michigan has trailed at home this year with still 3:35 to go in the first half.
And credit to that guy you see right there. That's head coach, Coach Creighton. 2 4th-down conversions have led to 10 points in this lead for the Eagles right now.
Johnson again with the catch on the short kick, keeping it away from Darius Phillips wisely. But Johnson gets up over the 35-yard line. So decent field position on the return by Western Michigan. So Zach Terrell at the controls. Roback right now in the lead, though. The battle of these two quarterbacks as they battle for the Michigan MAC trophy.
Right now, Terrell, again, doesn't have to do too much. There's plenty of time, a lot of football left, down by 3 on it. But as you said, this is the first time they've had this type of adversity at home here for Western Michigan.
19-yard return brings it out to the 37-yard line. Going to keep this one on the ground. It's going to be Bogan, and wow, coming up fast and making the hit. It's like number 42 that time for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, Derek Williams, backup linebacker, junior from Lake Orion, Michigan, and 31 tackles. And you'll see him right in the middle of your screen. He's just scraping across, and then he's going to pop out of nowhere and surprises Bogan. An excellent job of being able to go high, grab, and make sure he snatched down. That's great defense by that linebacker in Eastern Michigan. This defense is really fired up right now, knowing that they've been playing great against an explosive offense so far in this game.
Loss of 2 on the play. Good protection for Terrell, but not good coverage downfield. He finally finds Thompson. Carrington Thompson has some green inside the 30. Inside the 20, 15, run out of bounds. Boy, it all started with some great blocking up front. And it took Terrell a while to find the open receiver, but he finally found Carrington Thompson.
Well, and that was a blown zone coverage on the bottom half. Once Terrell stepped up in the pocket, the corner, instead of staying deep and doing his job, you'll see they're only going to rush 4. Excellent protection right there. The linebackers are deep taking away that dig, and you see Terrell take a hit. But unfortunately, once he stepped up, the corner on that side decided to step up and leave Carrington Thompson wide open for a big gain.
51 yards on the play, so Thompson now on the receiving end of a 38-yard pass and a 51-yard pass. Franklin rumbles inside the 10 down to about the 6-yard line. P.J. Fleck was saying yesterday, Jarvion Franklin, after rushing for 281 last week, the first thing he did was run over and hug his offensive lineman.
That's what you're supposed to do. And feed them throughout the week. Buy them some pizzas. These kids are in college. They can't afford, steakhouses, but you can go get each one of those big fellas a pizza.
I'm not sure if some of these guys can afford pizzas, right?
Well, ultimately, you hope that if there's 6 to 8 slices, you can at least get 1 out of 5 boxes of pizza. You may be able to get 1 or 2 slices. Then you can share it with Bogan, your other running back, that has been phenomenal in the backfield as well.
This is going to be a 3rd and 2. We mentioned the fact the Broncos are 55% on the year, leading the MAC. They're 0 for 2 on 3rd downs so far here in the first half.
And part of that is obviously Eastern Michigan's defense has been phenomenal on 3rd down, only allowing just above or right at 40%. So they've been doing a good job defensively on 3rd down. So tough task today.
Bogan walks in for the touchdown. So Franklin gets the touchdown, his 7th, and now Bogan gets his 6th.
You take a peek right here, Mike. Again, it's simple play action. The quarterback is reading the zone read, but look at that hole. Look at the blocking that the Western Michigan offensive line is doing, and that's easy. Linebackers you see right there, number 32, scrapes a little bit too hard. You want to make sure you're inside out. Juan Gerardo is the guy right there that just gets a little bit too far because, again, that hole opens up so big and so quick, and Bogan's able to sneak in for his 6th touchdown of the season, as you said, Mike.
Eastern Michigan grabbed the lead and didn't last long. Broncos back on top right now, 21-17 with 1:14 to go. As we light up the MAC scoreboard, bring you up to date on what's transpired in the Mid-American Conference so far here. Again, Toledo, undefeated in the West, trying to, they went to 3-0. Western, of course, trying to get to 4-0. Ohio University with a victory over Kent State. Miami, that's a final over Bowling Green. And now in the 4th quarter, Akron has taken the lead over Ball State 21-17 at halftime. Northern Illinois just 1-6 this year on top of Buffalo 30-7.
It's a big eruption there for Northern Illinois, 30-7 at the half. Buffalo go in there, make some adjustments, and try to come back out and make that a football game.
Yeah, we did that Northern Illinois Ball State game, and Anthony Maddie made his first collegiate start. Picked up 358 yards of total offense against Ball State. Well, he had 335 against this Western defense. Matter of fact, Ed Pinkham said that's probably the one game that stands out, that his team didn't play stellar football that day. And Maddie used to be a Bronco. He transferred out of here.
It's tough to get on the field when you have a quarterback with 10,000 yards and climbing.
Johnson, nice open field tackle as Johnson across the 20-yard line. So Antoine Porter has been the favorite target for Roback so far.
Excellent job. Again, Mike, as you said, this is one of the guys, and you talked about it earlier, they have a bunch of new wide receivers that have been playing. And, again, he's just making plays for his quarterback right now. They have a special relationship that goes with a lot of practice together after practice is over, just developing that relationship, that quarterback and wide receiver relationship, which is so important and invaluable to offenses all over the country, especially for the Eastern Michigan Eagles.
Bronco drive goes 63 in just 5 plays, 2:21 to take the lead. Roback goes back at the controls, completes the ball on the far side. Again, it's Breck Turner, the redshirt freshman, running back, so he's been busy coming out of the backfield, especially since he came in with only 3 receptions on the year. Haven't seen much of Ian Erickson. Picked up 4 on the play. Roback over the middle to the big number 82, the 6'7", 239-pounder, a redshirt freshman. You know, it's impressive, Brad, that he's been added to the John Mackey watch list mid-season as a redshirt freshman. That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive. Again, averaging almost 16 yards every time he touches the ball. You know, as you said, they call him the baby giraffe. And once he continues to develop and get stronger, wow, you talk about a force for this offense of Eastern Michigan that they're going to have. You know, you could be seeing another future as he continues to develop and get stronger physically in the weight room. You could see a guy that they haven't, that we see in the NFL, and that's Gronkowski, guys that are 6'7", 260 pounds, can run routes and have great hands, and that's what the baby giraffe, Nigel Kilby, is turning into so far for this offense of Eastern Michigan.
Turner picks up 9 on the last play. Roback comes down deep, and this one's going to be picked. It's only going to be the second interception Roback's thrown, and this one is picked off by your guy, Obie Jackson.
Told you he'll be at the fan reunion, and I will make his plate as he continues to make plays like that. Anytime you get a turnover at the Jackson family reunion, someone, me, B-Jack, will make your plate. Does an excellent job of staying deep. You need Bailey right there. Number 23 has to go up and do a better job of fighting and making sure that he deflects or knocks that football down. Made that interception too easy for number 24, Obie Jackson, but a better job of Obie Jackson being disciplined in his defense and staying back for his first career interception.
First of probably many.
He's a good player, good young player.
Well, 39 seconds to go. The ball's at the 27, but P.J. Fleck, an offensive player, something tells me they're not going to sit on this. Terrell opens up from the shotgun. Franklin has some running room. Franklin weaves his way through traffic all the way over the 40 up to the 42, 43-yard line. Clock stops to move the chains. With 33 seconds to go.
When you have a guy, you know, that ran for 281 a school record last week, you know, that's a good big long run on first down.
Picked up 15 on the play. The incompleted pass will stop the clock with 24 seconds to go. And Terrell had a hard time finding the handle of the football that time on the snap.
Yeah, that play didn't look like it had much success from the beginning. Terrell dropped it, off of the snap, and he's fortunate that there was no blitz coming. They were sitting back, dropping, 7 guys, only rushing 4, and he was able to pick it up. But excellent job of Terrell. You see the veteran presence that we talk about, with him being a redshirt senior, of not panicking, making sure he picked up the football, no one was around him, and being able to look downfield. And unfortunately, he just didn't have a good grip as he tried to deliver that. But it stops the clock, and now they're able to reset offensively.
And they're up to the 42 with 24 seconds to go. Play action. Terrell goes over the middle, and this one's almost picked off. Hit the ground. The Eagles are saying they have it, but it skipped into the hands of the defensive player, number 10, that's Vince Calhoun.
I think defensive guys should be able to allow to have one bounce. That's just my guy. But again, we see, he does trap it right there, but an excellent effort, and he loses his feet. Otherwise, that is an interception for, Calhoun, as you talked about it. Again, a guy that has only, 7 starts. He's a young player, a true freshman back there playing from Middletown, Ohio. And, he's had his name called a couple times today, and big opportunity right there if he keeps his feet in the middle of the field. But I love the fact that Eastern Michigan is now taking away that deep dig route
offside
that Western Michigan had.
Defense, unabated to the quarterback, number 92. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Love what you see right here. A little bit too jumpy from the defensive line right there. Looks like big number 90, Jeremiah Harris, who already, or number 92.
And Max Crosby.
I told you, I'm just going to say that guy. But the freshman from Colleyville, Texas, is tries to get a little bit of a head start on the offensive tackle there to try to force and get himself in the backfield to force, Western Michigan to make a mistake here on 3rd and 5.
I thought it was 52 Pat O'Connor at first, so I don't feel bad. Over the middle, Thompson takes the hit, holds onto the ball inside the 30-yard line, down to the 26 with 10 seconds to go.
Big third down conversion. Yep, excuse me, buddy. Big third down conversion right there as they spike it, try to give themselves an opportunity to add to their lead here with 7 seconds to go.
So Carrington Thompson now picks up 26, so he's gone 38, 51, and 26 on pass plays from Terrell.
And you'll see it's just, again, a post there by the number 2 wide receiver. They recognize that Eastern Michigan.
281 last week for Jarvion Franklin. You see 46 yards, 10 carries. That's still a 4.6 average, though. I guess most coaches would take that.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're going against a good defense against the run. They've only given up 3.5, per carry themselves, that being the Eagles' defense.
Hampton's long is 47. This will be a 44-yard kick if he makes it. 8 seconds to go, 21-17. Definitely long enough, and it's good. That's going to do it. So we've played 30 minutes, and Butch Hampton, the freshman from Piedmont, Oklahoma. Clock is on zeros. The teams are heading for the locker room. Quickly, your thoughts on the first half.
Well, turnovers, defense, and wait a minute, now they're pulling the teams back to the sideline here and just hold on.
Second half, and again, for the third time, we mentioned this, 11 of their last 16 second half possessions they have scored. So these Eagles definitely are a second half football team. Butch Hampton getting ready to kick off this second half. Moody and Johnson, the deep men for Eastern Michigan. Taking out the 8-yard line and fumbled the football. Deron Johnson, and Western Michigan is all over Johnson, and Eastern Michigan may be a second half team, but they're going to open up the second half inside their own 5-yard line.
Yeah, that's not what you want to have coming out of the locker room. You get in there, you feel good about yourself, you're in this football game, and then you come out and you have, a snafu right here on the opening kickoff of the second half. You have to look the football in. Fortunate to recover that, as was excellent coverage by Western Michigan.
Brad, as you know, sometimes when the guy fumbles the football, it actually sets up a long return, but Western Michigan, their kick coverage team, did a great job of getting down. As we take a look at the numbers of the quarterback Roback in the first half, 17 of 27, $170 after his 347-yard performance a week ago. They're going to keep it on the ground, hitting the left side. It's going to be Breck Turner. And a penalty flag dropped at the 6-yard line. In that first half, Eastern had 5 penalties. Just one for Western Michigan. Here's the call.
Offside. Defensive right tackle lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So this time it goes against Western Michigan. That's their second penalty of the afternoon. Looks like it goes against David Curl, the senior out of Shelby Township, Michigan. The 6'3", 305-pounder. So it's 2nd and 5. A little bit of breathing room at the 11-yard line now. And there's number 10 again, Robert Spillane, coming in from that linebacker spot. He's their leading tackler. He's had 3 11-tackle games, Brad, and he had 8 in the first half here.
Yeah, and it's surprising because a lot of times, Mike, you don't expect the leading tackler of a defense to be the outside linebacker. Usually that's the inside linebacker, and that being Caleb Bailey, number 8 in this case. But Spillane, as you talked about, has done an excellent job. We've seen it earlier. We highlighted a great package that we saw of him in coverage and also be able to play it outfield. He finds his way and has the nose for the football.
Over the 10, maybe the 11-yard line. And the tackle made by number 53, Nathan Brayster. He's a junior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Ed Pinkham said that Adams and Brayster, who play that outside defensive end, they both can run, and they can really, really run, he said.
Yeah, and that's what you have to have, and that's why this Broncos defense has been so good, in being able to run the football. They're one of the top in the MAC, as far as almost every defensive category, and it all starts and stops with their athleticism.
Eagles 4 for 8 in the first half. This is a 3rd and 5 from the 11-yard line. Roback out of the gun. Keeps it himself. He's going to pick up the first down, dives at about the 19, and that's going to move the chains for Eastern Michigan.
Great play call, and again, he followed his big fullback, 245 pound. He's 5'8", only 237 pound, Levante Robinson. But you're going to see right here as he pulls back, and then he's got a blocker in front of him. Robinson's doing an excellent job of scanning inside and out, looking for someone to block. Roback picks up the first down. He's been excellent with his legs today.
And that's exactly what Ed Pinkham, the defensive coordinator, said that concerned him. Quarterbacks that can run. We talked about Anthony Matty at Northern Illinois. Here's number 23. That's going to be Bailey. Bailey thrown out of bounds at about the 22, 23-yard lines by Justin Ferguson. And Pinkham saying that he is concerned the fact that Roback can run the football.
And he doesn't have big numbers because, as you talked about, he missed a couple games this season, and obviously it's his arm and his throwing the last several weeks that have sparked this offense, and it's getting a lot of attention. But he's athletic and he does have the ability, and that's why defensive coordinator was concerned about it, because in big moments, as you see right here, he's able to elude pressure and then be able to make plays and keep drives alive.
Drags that leg and trying to get around, hit the edge, but he picked up about 5 on the plane. Spillane was in there in a hurry on a blitz. And as you mentioned, Roback doing a good job of avoiding number 10.
Yeah, it's an outside linebacker blitz, and he just has to keep contained. You always want to fight for the upfield shoulder, that being the shoulder, that would be the left shoulder in this case, because you expect quarterbacks to try to escape, because if he comes back underneath, typically defensively, there'll be another defensive lineman or another linebacker that is coming inside out to help you on that play. So excellent job, and again, that shows the athletic ability and the speed of Roback.
5 for 9 on 3rd down. They swing it out of the backfield, and Parker's going to be ridden down by Eric Asua, number 33. Asua, a sophomore from Silver Springs, Maryland. And that's going to bring up a punting situation. Austin Barnes, I think this is only going to be the second time we've seen him all afternoon. His first punt went 45. He'll be punting at about the 15. Darius Phillips standing at his own 25-yard line for Western Michigan.
And funny seeing Darius Phillips. He just, this is a turf field, and he's picking up some fake grass to throw it as the wind has been blowing, hard here all day, especially left to right. So see if they keep it out of this dangerous returner's hands as he goes back for this punt.
Good balance by Phillips. He keeps his feet. Phillips gets to the edge, and Phillips has some room. Phillips inside the 30. Phillips on the sideline. He's going to take it to the house, and if he did not touch the sideline, that's going to be another touchdown. That's going to be his 3rd touchdown on a kick.
1 word, 3 letters. Wow.
Boy, he did a great job finding the open field, and maybe a better job of straddling that sideline, because the officials are huddling right now, but it doesn't look like they think he stepped out of bounds.
Well, and again, he doesn't catch the football clean and fundamentally, but right there you just see his natural instinct and ability.
Right there.
Yep. Right there, it looks like he may have kept the healer, but he definitely got that left foot definitely is touching the white, but there's no official right there. But look at the blocking, look at the vision, look at the explosion at that young man, and that's why we talked about it. We've highlighted it, ladies and gentlemen. That young man right there is special with a capital S as far as playing lockdown corner coverage, returning kicks. He was a wide receiver that he scored touchdowns and had over 400 yards receiving also. This young man right here is just special, and that's why he's an All-American kick returner.
We'll take another look at this one now. If you just joined us late in the first half, we talked about the fact that he has a punt return for a touchdown of 66 yards, a 100-yard kickoff return, and 2 pick sixes this year. He had a pick six and a 100-yard return in one game against Georgia Southern. But again, of course, Tim O'Day, the referee, has sent it upstairs for Bill Loudy to take a look at it. And again, as Brad mentioned, I think he did step out of bounds.
And don't forget, Mike, his kick return, 2 100-yarders and a 93-yarder. So, you just talk about every time the football is in his hand, good things happen, and he makes what's called explosive plays, gaps, not the store that you sometimes shop in, game-altering plays. Right there, it may come back, but again, it shows you why they've been kicking away from this young man all day. He finally gets his hand on one. And depending on how the replay officials view this, it could be a huge, huge break for the Broncos, and it could be, a big play for the Eagles as they're standing way down there expecting the call from the official to say it was not a touchdown.
And here's that call.
After reviewing the play, the receiver stepped out of bounds at the 27-yard line. The bell will be placed at the 27-yard line on the hash nearest to the press box. Please reset the game clock to 10 minutes, 59 seconds.
By Bill Loudy upstairs,
10:59.
making the correct call.
Been busy today, but it's a correct call. And you'll see it right here. His left foot, right there. The right steps out. The left looks like it gets it right there. But as we saw from that last shot, and that's a great view by our camera guys down there. Thanks, fellas. The official, because of that sun, is coming right over the end zone. The official was holding up his off arm trying to block the sun out as he's seen. So that's the reason why that call was missed. And it was so close. A game of inches, Mike. And that's inches away from being a huge return and another kick return for that special young man, Darius Phillips.
It would have been what was a 52-yard punt. It would have been a 79-yard return. Terrell, nice opening, parting of the Red Sea, and he just takes off. He's over the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Thompson looking for a flag. No penalty flag dropped as he slid to a stop. Picks up 9. There's his numbers in the first half, 13 of 19 for 237.
Man, the big one is the one all the way to the right, the interception, his first interception of the season. 18 touchdowns and 1 interception, so see how he responds, but very efficient at 13 and 19, 237. Running game hasn't got on track, but the quarterback is doing what he's been doing over his career. That's why he has over 10,000 career yards here for the Broncos.
More on his passing efforts right after this play. This one's going to be caught by Michael Henry, the senior out of Flint, Michigan. We're talking with the offensive coordinator, Kirk Shiraka. He's averaging 228 passing yards. You look at Logan Woodside of Toledo, he's at 335. And Shiraka was saying that if we don't have this running game, they lead the MAC with the running game, Terrell's capable of putting up those same type of 300, 350 yards. Last year they played Michigan State, and they shut down the running game, and he wound up passing for 370 against the Spartans. So he's definitely capable, as you mentioned. That's why he's over 10,000. But I guess what the offensive coordinator was trying to tell us, he could have a lot more if they didn't have such a great running attack. Penalty flag, that's going to be a late hit out of bounds by number 51. That's Kyle Rockwall.
And you'll see right here, Rockwall, number 51, comes over, tackles him, and then it's a little ticky-tack. Wasn't, anything right there to call a flag about. Let him play football. Referees have been doing a good job today. Again, he's already going down. He can't stop right there. You want to make sure. As a linebacker, you can't stop.
You can't stop.
We're paid to make tackles.
Out of bounds.
In between the white lines.
51, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's ridiculous.
They give out a hammer.
I'm sorry.
They give out a hammer of the week. They gave out 3 last week. He got one of them, but now he gets charged with the big penalty.
Yeah, excuse me, but he's got over 100 career tackles, leads the team in tackles this year. Again, it was nothing egregious right there for him being able to get that out of bounds. Let him play football. It's been a good, clean, called game. Great job by the replay officials and the officials on the field. Ticky-tack 15-yard penalties. It's whatever.
40 yards worth of penalties now against Eastern Michigan. Play, action, plenty of time over the middle, and it's caught. Davis, we've been waiting to call his name and number. 3 catches in the first half. That's his 4th.
And you'll see right here, again, they got Davis. This time, we saw it in the first half. He was number 2 on the inside receiver. Right here is that deep dig route. You get the 7 on by number 2 and the dig route, by Davis. You talked about it. Pretty much shut down in the first half, and an All-American and the Max all-time leading receiver. Only being to have 41 yards. But, again, the attention that he was getting allowed Carrington Thompson to have a huge first half.
Franklin down to about the 21 on the carry. Here in the third quarter, if you just joined us, 24-17. Eastern Michigan took the lead at one juncture. First time Western Michigan has trailed at home. But to the Broncos' credit, they came right back with a go-ahead drive. So Franklin coming in with 3,081 yards, only a junior. Came in 1,139 from becoming the number 1 all-time leading rusher here at Western Michigan, something I'm sure he'll get at least next year, barring an injury. And this one's caught by Henry, but a good open field tackle again by number 10, Vince Calhoun, and number 3, Jason Beck coming over there.
Well, they've seen that play about 3 or 4 times. And again, it just depends on the defense if they're in zone or man. If they're in zone, then that play has a propensity to work. But right there, it's man, and then the defense just does an excellent job. That's what happens at halftime, Mike. When you're sitting in that locker room and the coaches are coming up and saying, they've ran this play on us 3, 4, 5 times. Let's get an idea, guys. Once you see it, hey, let's attack and make sure. Now, defensively, they have to be concerned and make sure they stay alert for the fake bubble and the bubble go, which then, of course, Terrell would hit over the top by the number 1 receiver who fakes a block and then goes vertical.
3rd and 8. Thompson, first down, 10-yard line. So Thompson, first half, 121 receiving yards, another big first down there for the Broncos.
Again, they got him in the slot right now. He stems the safety out, as you see right there, number 3, and which is the dog, as they call him in this defense, Jason Beck. Stems him out just a little bit in what we call the look route. The wide receiver comes out, stems him out. As soon as his hips turn or he peeks back and he locks those hips, then the wide receiver plants that outside foot and darts back in, and that's a big pickup and another catch right there, as you said, for Carrington Thompson, who's having a career day right now.
First down, they keep it on the ground, hitting the right side. Pile moves down to about the 7-yard line. Getting the carry that time, it's Bogan. Bogan coming off the sidelines. Damari Bogan, just a redshirt sophomore out of Union, New Jersey. I love the way that P.J. Fleck tells his guys, though, face-to-face. He says, hey, I'm going to out-recruit you. So the next guy coming in.
Well, that's how you build a program. Glee, as you know that, if you start stacking good players, it breeds competition, and that's what football players want, and that's what makes the program be dominant.
Terrell looking, firing, touchdown. Thompson second. This time it's an 8-yarder. And the second scoring strike for Terrell. That's going to be 19 on the year for him.
And you see him up top again. They got a just 2-by-2 set. Terrell runs the same slant corner route, but then he sees his quarterback in trouble and does an excellent job of not only breaking the route off, but he does what a lot of young wide receivers have to learn to do. He continues to come back to the football, because if he stops right there in the middle of the end zone, then the defensive guy has a chance to get in there for a pick or breakup. Carrington does an excellent job, as you would expect from a senior, to continue to come back toward the football to get his second touchdown of the day.
Hampton right down the middle of the freeway. 6:27 to go in the third quarter. Another impressive drive that time by Western Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's one of the things they have to do. You see Terrell looks left, looks right, comes back, touchdown. Guess what? 31-17 Broncos.
The 20th annual Marathon
is on top now, 31-17, and a pretty good resume maker for Carrington Thompson today.
Now you're talking about 6 catches, 144 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Is the difference in this football game right now. And, we all know about Corey Davis, the All-American, Max all-time leading receiver, one of the leading all-time active receivers in all of college football. But Carrington Thompson, the senior, has had 2 big weeks. Last week were career highs, 5 for 80 against the University of Akron, and he steps that up this week. Again, 6 for 144 and 2 touches.
Johnson's got some running room this time over the 40-yard line. Inside the 40-yard line. Finally run out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. So Jerron Johnson, the junior from Moreno Valley, California, giving the Eagles a good field position. They trail 31-17. 6 minutes and 17 seconds to go. We'll see if the Eagles can get something going. Penalty flag dropped at about the 46-yard line, so we'll wait the call here from Tim O'Day.
During the return, holding, return team number 6, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, first down, timeout on the field for media.
We're going to take a timeout, 31-17, 6:17 to go when we come back.
You both have a perfect driving record.
Until one of you clips a food truck.
Johnson thought he had a 40-yard return, giving Eastern Michigan good field position. As we take a look at it, though, Jalen Pickett, number 6, right side of the frame.
Right side of frame right there, Jalen Pickett, number 6. You know, tied for first on the team with interceptions. Not very good at blocking, and he gets called right there. Maybe a little bit of a flop. I know NBA season is about to start. Bob Steinfurt, our super producer, would love that, as he's a huge Spurs guy. Looks like one of those NBA floppers.
Boy, here comes the pressure. Here comes the pressure, and Roback throws it out of bounds. So Brogan Roback would have been the starter this year, but he was suspended for the first 2 games for breaking team rules, and I'll update the rest right after this.
Well, and you just see them applying a lot of pressure. The offensive line for Eastern Michigan has done a good job of protecting him right there. They had a little bit of breakdown, a little bit of a great disguise, showed a little bit of zone coverage, but then you saw the linebackers coming, what we call a pressure rush. It's not a full-out blitz, but if your guy blocks, then you can add yourself to the rush.
Okay, more on Roback right after this play now. It's 2nd and 10 from the 33. They keep it on the ground. It's going to be Breck Turner. Mentioned the 2-game suspension for Todd Porter took over at quarterback, had the job into Wyoming. He had 4 picks, 2 pick sixes. Roback comes off the bench, produces a game-winning drive. Porter started the next game against Bowling Green, injured his shoulder. Roback came off the bench again, 3 second-half touchdown passes, and the rest is history. So now he's at the controls, and it's his job to lose now. And right now they're down 31-17, but Eastern Michigan's been impressive here against this number 20 team in the country. Look at this, plenty of time, huh? Going deep, and he has his man wide open, and it's caught. Is that Bailey? Number 23, Sergio Bailey.
Big catch, but we just talked about the offensive line doing an excellent job. They don't pressure and blitz that time, and Roback has all day long. And you'll see right here on the right of your screen, again, they leaving Darius Phillips out there. He even can't believe. Again, there's a rule that we have on defense. If you see him throw it, you see him catch it. That means if you're looking at the quarterback, you're the guy that you're covering typically will catch the football, as it was the case right there.
And there's the touchdown by Breck Turner, the redshirt freshman. Nice haul on the left side, and he just kicked it in the 5th gear. And Eastern Michigan comes right back to answer that Bronco score. That catch goes for 56.
Look at this. Again, this is a tough catch. We were talking about the official having to shade his eyes from the sun, but that's a great job of getting behind Darius Phillips, playmaker. Again, he saw the fact that his receiver had stopped short. He didn't realize it was a double move. Sergio Bailey, the second, continues to go vertical, and then roll back. Because of the time that the offensive line provided, Mike was able to sit back there, scan the whole field, and see Bailey throw his hand up for a big play that led to a touchdown. As you see right here, Turner does an excellent job of stretching it wide to the sideline to get into the end zone. 31-24, 5:16 to go.
Red 97!
Had to sneak in a couple of his buddies into the stadium here today.
It is Halloween week, and they're dancing to Sweet Caroline. We can't make this up.
Let's go back and take a look at all the time that Roback had on that long 56-yard pass play.
Well, we'll take a look at this up top, as we call it 22, and you'll see at the bottom of the screen it was covered 2, but they're only rushing 2. One of the other defensive linemen, he's standing there playing basketball defense, and unfortunately there's no pressure on the quarterback. You give any quarterback that much time, somebody's going to get open. Excellent job by Sergio Bailey to continue to go vertical once he realized that his first route wasn't going to be there. Roback, excellent job. Offensive line, excellent job. Big play that led to Breck Turner's touchdown run to bring them within 7.
Darius Phillips back for the kick, and finally he gets a chance to return one. over the 20-yard line. Phillips over the 25 and run out of bounds just over the 30-yard line. 5:10 to go, 31-24 as we go back to the Mid-American Conference scoreboard. This is what's transpired. Toledo with a victory. Ohio by 4 over Kent State. Miami beats Bowling Green. Ball State's losing to Akron now 35-25. And in the fourth quarter, it's Northern Illinois by 30 over Buffalo.
Yeah, tight game between Ohio and Kent, but look at Akron bouncing back from being shellacked last week, 41-0, bounces back with a big win on the road at Ball State.
So Phillips gets a 30-yard return, puts the ball out to the 30. And Zach Terrell takes over again. They keep it on the ground, and the pile is moving. Is that Franklin or Bogan? I think it was.
I'm not going to guess.
Javar. It's Franklin. Franklin with the play. Boy, he's strong. 6 foot, 228, but he moves that pile.
Yeah, well, 228 pounds, and then as you see, the offensive linemen are continuing to shove. And unfortunately, look, Mike, you see a lot of white shirts all standing up. You're on defense, guys. You got to get down, wrap those legs up, wrap up and swarm. Now sit there and hope that someone else gets them on the ground.
Picks up 8 on the play, so 2nd and 2. There's a first down. Franklin trying to break to the outside, and he's dropped just inside the outside the 45-yard line at about the 46.
And you'll see some safety support come here. Again, they've had some success. They just haven't had the success that they're used to. But, again, a good open field tackle right there. You want to see your defensive guys wrap up. It's a great job by Kevin McGill, number 23, of being able to deliver the blow. But also, young fella, grab cloth, grab hands, because that's a big old running back at 228, 230 pounds that you're trying to bring down.
Brand new set of downs, 4 minutes and 7 seconds, clock running. Play action, Terrell over the middle. Nice catch. Inside the 40 at about the 36 or 37, it's going to be Michael Henry, who came in with 33 grabs.
Yeah, and again, they keep attacking that middle area of the dig, area that we call it, and it looks like he may have gotten a good catch. And that's one of the things that Eastern has done a better job as this game has progressed, Mike, of taking that away. But unfortunately, by doing that, they're not getting pressure on the quarterback, and that's why we've seen Terrell be able to get out the pocket and make some throws, because they've only been, getting 4 guys to pressure the quarterback, and that's just not been enough in some situations. So, this is the cat and mouse game that are going on between both coordinators of Eastern and Western Michigan right now.
Franklin again, penalty flag dropped this time, and Franklin is dropped at about the 32-yard line. More penalty flags in this game than either coach expected.
Or wanted.
Holding, offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's Jackson Days, a senior out of Granger, Indiana, the left guard.
Well, he'll still be at the family reunion because he has Jackson, and every day, as I tell my kids, it's Jackson Day in our household. So I always tell my 3 kids it's always a great day to be at Jackson. But as you'll see, right there, again, he looks a little bit in. Offensive linemen always do that. Jackson Day, again, the senior. It's a good veteran move, but a better eyes by the officials to see that, because typically a lot of times playing linebacker, a lot of those offensive linemen get away with, great veteran moves like that. But
1st and 20 now at the 48. I have a grandson named Jackson, so I guess he can come too.
He's I told you you're invited.
This one, nice catch. Michael Henry again. Well, you look at some of these receivers. Henry came in with 33 catches. Of course, Corey Davis had 43 coming into the ball game.
And it's a little triple formation to the right, and you'll see just an out and up. Again, that's exactly what we call a zone beater. Well, where the corners ran off, as you see number 14, Ross Williams, who has an interception this game. He's ran off with the vertical, and then what happens is they run that slant. So anytime you get a cover 3 or 3 deep zone concept, you see a lot of that on any level of football, but it typically have some success because they flood the zone.
Picked up 19 on that pass play. They keep it on the ground now, and not much running room against that Eastern Michigan defensive front. That was Bogan that time with the carry.
going back to what you were talking about earlier, good buddy, you know, Zach Terrell has over 10,000 yards, and he could have big numbers because he has the wide receivers to give him those big numbers, but the offensive line and this running attack is just very special for the Broncos, as you see right there on that carry by Bogan. I mean, they're bringing in Franklin. They're bringing in Bogan. Bogan's running out, you know, and they just continue to find guys that can run the football and be super productive and get over 1,000 or 1,500 yards every season.
Like Bogan, 5'7", 187. That's what he's listed at. But a nice second effort that time to pick up the first down. Inside 2.5 minutes before we head for the fourth quarter. Davis. Boy, he wanted to throw that football, but wisely tucked it, and he's pushed out of bounds at about the 24-yard line.
Try to do a little trickeration, you know, right there with the Max all-time leading receiver. But I'm going to go out on a limb here, buddy, and say the guy that's a Maxwell Award candidate, Walter Camp Award candidate, and Blenitikoff Award candidate, I'd rather have him catching the football than him trying to throw the football. But an excellent job of that young man understanding that the play wasn't there and just to eat it and try to make something out of nothing.
43 career touchdowns for Davis. Here's Eskridge again. And another penalty flag dropped at about the 21-yard line. But Eskridge, we talked about that speed, the sprint champion, the 100 and 200 in high school. Saw some of the speed right there as he kicked it into sixth gear.
Like he was shot out of a cannon. I mean, and they're taking advantage of it with that wide receiver sweep. And, you know, as he continues to progress and learn this offense, you know, you talked about it being a true freshman. You know, he's going to find a place in this offense. They line him up in the backfield, simple toss, get him outside, and no great effort there by Jeremiah Harris.
Offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty, second down.
I saw the penalty flag come out, and I have to admit, I didn't even see the ball come loose.
But it's good effort. But, you know, again, you got guys at 5'9", 180, and they're in the backfield. You know, you put a little lumber on those guys. You know, it's you have the ability to force a turnover, and luckily for him, he forces it out of bounds. And that's something that the coaches will talk about, you know, out during the week, ball security, because it's key, and it's been a big part of Western Michigan's success of being able to protect the football here.
2nd and 17. And going deep. Wow, touchdown. What a catch. Wow. That's what we're talking about. Chris Creighton said that they have good receivers, but this guy is special.
Well, he is special, and there's a reason why he'll be playing on Sundays. There's a reason why he owns all the records here, and he's one of the top in the nation, as you see right here. Uses that big 6'3" frame. Great defense right there. The defender, the young kid, Ross Williams, who has an interception. But that guy right there, mama, wow. There goes that man, Corey Davis. The senior does an excellent job, as we call it, eating popcorn off the defensive back's head. He goes up right there and has himself a snack. Great catch right there for his 11th touchdown, which leads the MAC and the entire nation on the season.
14 touchdowns in 14, 12 touchdowns last year. And as you mentioned, that's number 11 here in 2016.
But you see Terrell right here. He's comfortable. There's no pressure on him. He's been able to sit back. And Eastern Michigan has been flirting with this all day of being able to play one-on-one with these good wide receivers. And that's why Carrington Thompson's having a big day. They held him in check. But right here in the red zone, we got to go to the guy that knows how to catch the football and score in the national here, and the guy that's going to play, you know, on a big stage, the national stage, as he is with 11 touchdowns, lead the nation, and the guy that will be playing on Sunday in the National Football League as well.
They've had some big-time receivers. He had 90 catches last year. Keep in mind, that wasn't even best on this Bronco team. Daniel Braverman, who's now with the Bears practice squad, had 109. And a few years ago, Jordan White had 140 catches in 2011.
Well, let's not forget Roger Lewis, who, you know, is playing with the Giants, and he actually scored his first career touchdown in a big win for the Giants last week against my Ravens up at MetLife Stadium. You know, he's another guy that's made plays in this offense. And let's not forget probably the greatest wide receiver to ever come out of here, and from Kalamazoo, and that being the Packers' Greg Jennings, former second-round pick. Wow. 64 career touchdowns for your Pack. You know it. Go, Pack, go. 238. receiving here, receptions here, 3,500 yards. 39 touchdowns, and this young man, Corey Davis, has eclipsed all of that.
Johnson again gets up over the 20, stopped at about the 21. Let's go back and revisit the keys to the game.
Well, as we talk about it, we're going to take a peek here at what Western Michigan had to do. And right now, again, they gave themselves a 2-possession lead. They're keeping the oars in the water. What does that mean? The energy you bring, and they continue to bring that energy. It's a battle, and they continue to fight to try to win a turnover battle. They've had 2 today, but, unfortunately for them, they've got success off of those turnovers. And then Eastern Michigan, they've slowed down the running game of Western Michigan, which is why they're still here, but they have to maintain productive second halves. They scored a touchdown on the last drive. We'll see if they can keep it going here, Mike.
Well, they've scored 12 of the last 18 second half possessions now after that last scoring drive for Eastern Michigan. Roback trying to buy some time and throws this one away. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 21-yard line.
But his legs are the reason that's not a sack, as he's talking to his wide receivers like he was expecting a double move. But you saw his escapability right there. That was looking forward to being a lost yardage play, and he finds a way to spin out of that and throw it away to give themselves an opportunity to stay alive here on 2nd and 10.
Last drive by the Broncos went 70 yards in just 9 plays. So they've had an 83-yard drive and a 70-yard drive here this afternoon. Here comes the pressure. Completes the ball and up to about the 30-yard line. Forward progress should put it at the 30. Again, it's Breck Turner coming out of the backfield. Hard to believe he only had 3 catches coming into the ball game because he's really been active coming out of the backfield today.
Well, and that's because Roback is doing a great job of taking what the defense has given him, and that's why he's been far more efficient this year, which is why Coach Creighton and them are happy with his progression, as they go for it here on 3rd and 1.
Out of the I formation. And wow. Phillips came up from the cornerback spot and hit him, but the running back spun around, so I think he picked up the first down. But Phillips had him behind the line of scrimmage. But the second effort gives Eastern Michigan the first down.
Yep, and they're moving the chain. So good run. I like it. I don't like sometimes when a lot of these offenses, on 3rd and 1, hey, we're football players. Line up, and if our offensive line can't get a yard, a half yard, then why are you playing? But they do an excellent job here of Eastern Michigan. On those 3rd and short situations, they're lining up and powering forward for first downs.
Final play of the 3rd quarter, and they give it to Willie Parker. He's going to be dropped at the 35-yard line, and that's going to do it for the 3rd quarter. So here we go. Final 15 minutes for Brogan Roback and company. And a big day for Carrington Thompson. Buck 44. A couple of touchdown passes for Terrell. That gives him 82 this year. That ties him with Central Michigan's Cooper Rush.
I knew I could get myself out of this.
Kalamazoo as we head for the 4th quarter. Broncos looking for an 8-0 start. Lead it by a couple of touchdowns, 38-24. Join ASN next Saturday afternoon, 3:30. Another MAC showdown as the Red Hawks from Miami travel to Ypsilanti, take on these Eagles of Eastern Michigan. 3:30 Eastern on ASN. Well, Brad Jackson, it's been a good one so far. Eastern Michigan down by a couple of touchdowns, but plenty of football to be played here. 15 minutes is a long time.
A long time, and with both of these teams being explosive, we've seen a ton of big plays today, offensively and turnovers defensively. So, and even big plays in the kicking game. So this is going to be exciting 15 minutes. So everybody sit back, put your seatbelts on, and thank you for joining us for the ride as we ride along with you here with Eastern Michigan and Western Michigan.
Roback goes to work. Straight drop back and going far sidelines, looking and overshoots his man at the 35-yard line. And before that pass, Roback was 20 of 31 for 237.
And again, they had success. You see it right there, double move on Phillips for the big play that Sergio Bailey had, and they're trying it again. But this time, the safety Turnquil stays over top, and better fundamentals by the top corner for Western Michigan, and that being Darius Phillips.
Eastern 7 of 11. The intended receiver that time was Isaac Holder out of Tampa, Florida. Over the middle, and a good coverage. Again, it's number 24, Obi Jackson, in coverage that time for the Broncos, and that's going to bring up a punting situation for Austin Barnes.
Big breakup out there. We talked about it. We called this young man's name a lot. Mike, he does an excellent job of fighting inside and swiping away at the football. He has 1 interception on the day, the first of his career. Excellent job there on third down to make sure he doesn't grab and snatch, as the officials typically look for that, and that's a tough route. But he does an excellent job of making sure he does his job fundamentally sound for a big PBU.
Barnes averaging over 48 yards, 48.5 yards as we take a look at Phillips. We have already seen Phillips return 179 that was called back for stepping out of bounds. And obviously they just try to keep it out of his hands. Takes an Eastern Michigan roll inside the 25. It's going to be downed finally at just inside the 20-yard line. 14:37 to go here from Kalamazoo. And 38-24, Broncos on top of Eastern Michigan.
It's why we stand in a frozen Muni lot.
So Stadium, 38-24, Broncos. Broncos have the football. Want the best stories about your teams, your conferences? Make sure you bookmark. Come back every day to www.americansportsnet.com. Your home for storytelling about your teams. Mike Gleason along with Brad Jackson, a member of the Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl championship team. Basketball standout for Bob Huggins at Cincinnati, as well as football, and it's been a fun afternoon watching these two teams go at it.
Yeah, very exciting. Again, and explosive offense, good defense, explosive special teams, and we got a good game going here with 14:37 to go. Good buddy, glad to be with you.
Good to work with you as well, as Franklin loves to touch that football. He gets over the 25 and rumbles up to about the 27-yard line. Western Michigan looking for their first 8-0 start since 1941. Picked up 6 on that last play. They were 8-5 last year, 7-0 this year. But keep in mind, 2 of those losses, Brad, one came to Michigan State, one came to Ohio State. I was talking to the coaches yesterday, and I said, you know what? You're trying to build a program. Why would you schedule Michigan State and Ohio State in the same season? They said they wanted their guys to see what champions are all about. They said lost both games, but their players took something from both of those games, and now they're sitting here undefeated.
And sometimes, you can learn lessons from losses. You'd rather learn them from victories. But they also learned that, the success that they had, how much harder they had to work, as a staff and as a program in order to achieve that level. And it's paid dividends. Those losses have paid dividends, as you talked about it. The competition, has been bred amongst all these running backs. As you look at Franklin's stats there, 14-73 today. A little bit less than the 281 school record he had last week. But him and Bogan and everybody else, all these wide receivers, Carrington Thompson, Corey Davis, we know about him, but they're all playing better and playing well.
How about this? Bouncing around like a pinball and needed 4. Picked up a lot more than that, all the way up over the 35 to about the 37-yard line.
Yeah, and we'll take a look right here. Again, he secures the football, but he's downhill. One of the things right here, he's beautiful job of stepping back, able to run through another arm tackle, cuts back again right there. This is a guy that has great vision. I mean, look at the vision right there and the quick feet. The legs keep going. That's what you want to see and you love to see from your running back. And this is a guy, remember, Mike, that didn't play the first 4 games of the season, or played sparingly. And lost some work, and now he's back with a huge productivity the last 3 weeks.
Inside Eastern Michigan territory, but 2 penalty flags dropped. One at the 41, one at the 42. So something tells me there's a hold potentially here against Western Michigan.
Referees are sorting it out.
10-yard penalty, first down.
Taylor Moten, 5th-year senior out of Okemos, Michigan.
And then they switch it to Taylor Moten. You talk about it. Outland Trophy watch list. He's a good one. He's a big one, and he's a good one. 6'5", 328. He's another one that's going to be playing on Sundays. They've had, 39, 40 guys from this program that are playing on Sundays and have played on Sundays, and he'll be another one. So they give it to him at first, and then they switch it to the sophomore, John Kenoy, for the penalty, who started, 12 games at center as a true freshman and continued that this year as a sophomore.
Eskridge up near the 40-yard line. Yeah, Willie Beavers was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings from Western Michigan last year, and he was the only offensive lineman the Vikings drafted.
Take a look there at big old Keno, again, big old 305, 6'3". Again, when you come into college, and a credit to that young man from high school, and you start, the final 12 games as a true freshman, they can rely on you, explosive center to make the calls. It shows you how intelligent that young man is, but also how talented he is athletically.
2nd and 9. Near side, Thompson adding to his totals for the day. He's inside EMU territory at about the 48-yard line. Another catch for Carrington Thompson, a fifth-year senior out of Houston, Texas.
And Zach Terrell, sees the adjustment that Eastern Michigan defensively has made in the middle of the field. So now he checks it, and then he's coming back out and taking what they're giving him short, high percentage on the outside and the perimeter close to the sideline. So excellent job, again, by the redshirt senior Zach Terrell. And then, when you got a guy like Carrington Thompson who's having a career day, been playing well, extremely well the last 2 weeks, that's easy pickings for that offense.
Picked up 12 on the last play. Eskridge again. Good open field tackle on the far side. That was number 1, Daquan Pace, a senior out of the Motor City.
First time we call him Pace's name. Another good player, good corner here for Eastern Michigan from the historical Cass Tech High School out there in the D, as they call it, in Detroit.
Picked up 1 on the play, so it's 2nd and 9 at the 48-yard line of Eastern Michigan. Out of the gun, play action. And it's caught at the 35-yard line. It's Eskridge sneaking over there, the freshman out of Bluffton, Indiana.
Yeah, and that's one of the plays when they watch tape, defensive coordinator for Eastern Michigan, Neil Netherly, is going to be very upset about, because, the linebacker takes the run key, and you see right there, number 3, the dog of the defense, Jason Beck, just doesn't get as far out as he need to be. That's his play, to get underneath of that deep out, force a high throw to allow the corner over the top to get there for an incompletion or an interception, and he doesn't get there quick enough on that curl flat drop.
Picks up 13 on the play. Broncos on the move again. Terrell over the middle. Thompson inside the 15-yard line. So the Broncos are back in the red zone. And another catch for Thompson. 21 yards this time, and as he gets closer and closer to a 200-yard receiving day.
Well, you have a true freshman over there, Kevin McGill, number 23, from Waldorf, Maryland. We've called his name a couple times, and it's because he's the guy making tackles versus making, interceptions or pass breakups. So they found something over there. You got a senior going against a freshman. They're not going to take their foot off the pedal, being the Broncos offense, and they see a weakness, and they're going to exploit it. So right now, defensive coordinator Netherly is going to have to do something to try to help his young corner out on that side of the field.
Franklin keeps it on the ground inside the 10-yard line, close to the 5. Terrell is at 400 yards right now. So, Terrell, you mentioned 228 on average, but at 400. But as you mentioned, the running game hasn't been what it has been normally. But boy, Terrell's been on fire. That's a season high for him at 400.
And they're high percentage plays, Mike. They're not doing anything. They had the big plays across the middle with the dig, and we've seen the touchdown there in the red zone to Corey Davis. But for the most part, it's been slants. Some of the digs, a lot of those wide receiver bubble screens and those guys, on the edges, his wide receivers are making plays. And that's a credit to those guys, and that's one of the things that you talked about before, with the coordinator, telling you, that he could have even bigger numbers, but it's because of the running game and the talent in the backfield that he doesn't have more 400-yard passing days.
PJ Fleck saying that if pro football doesn't work out for him, whatever company hires him, put him right in the CEO position because he's a great leader. This time, faked it, and the ball came loose, and I think the Broncos have recovered it because Eastern Michigan. So Terrell with a rare He rode Franklin into the line, then he kept it himself, and the ball came loose.
Well, that was smart for him to keep because you see there's nowhere for Franklin, so what does he do? He pulls it back out. Fortunately, the ball pops out, but as you see, the great hustle by Western Michigan and other Broncos to go there and be able to recover that fumble right there on the doorstep of the end zone.
Big tight end Donnie Ernsberger, a junior from Battle Creek, coming up with the fumble recovery. This time they keep it on the ground, and Franklin's close to the goal line. So Franklin already with one rushing touchdown here this afternoon. Came up about half a yard shy that time.
Yeah, Rockwall does a good job of making sure he doesn't, get into the end zone on that last effort. Great effort there by Franklin. But, again, they've had so much success running on the edges and forcing these corners and safeties come up. Again, number 10, the true freshman, Vince Coleman, does an excellent job of forcing and showing on the outside to force Franklin to cut back, and there was Rockwall there to clean him up.
Franklin comes out. Bogan goes in. Third down. Ball resting inside the 1 yard line.
And Coach has run down to call a timeout. Talk about this real quick. Huge play right here for Western Michigan offense.
7:59 to go here. We'll keep it here in Kalamazoo. Talking about P.J. Fleck, earlier we talked about the fact that he led Northern Illinois twice. You mentioned he played a couple of years in the National Football League. But coaching-wise, obviously he was a good receiver. Listen to some of these guys. We saw that catch by Davis earlier. We saw the game, or we're seeing the game that Thompson's having today. When he was at Rutgers with Greg Schiano, he coached Mohamed Sanu,
Good
Huron
player.
Pratt,
Good player.
Mark Harrison, Brandon Coleman, Tim Wright, all played in the National Football League. When he was a GA at Ohio State, Ted Ginn Jr., Anthony Gonzalez, Brian Hartline, Roy Hall, Brian Robisky, all played in the National Football League. And they said Thompson hasn't been productive until this year, but what I've seen here today, I think he could play in the National Football League.
Well, and a credit to them not forcing it to, the best wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers, and if you just look at numbers, he is, and that being Corey Davis. And this is a guy, Carrington Thompson, who's developed and come along. The senior from Houston, Texas has done a great job of playing his role.
Bogan gets the call. Bogan gets the touchdown. So Bogan has a couple of touchdowns. Franklin has one. So they both have 7. Best of friends, as we told you. Sharing time. That doesn't work with every team. Sharing all those carries there, partner.
No, absolutely not. And then the guy that's out there celebrating with everybody is number 31, Franklin. He's the guy that just had the last carry to get them to the doorstep of the end zone. They call a timeout. Plenty of time for him to catch his breath, get a squirt of water, and go back in there and finish the drive off. Unselfishness, that's what the Broncos offense is about, and that's why this offense continues to do the things that they do and have a big lead right here.
Jamari Bogan, the one-time player of the year in the state of New Jersey, picks up his second rushing touchdown. Broncos averaging 44. They've got 45 with 7:55 to go.
Your insurance company won't replace the full...
7:55 to go, 45-24. Broncos on top of the Eagles here. Broncos trying to get to 8-0, 4-0. As we take a look at the standings, first in the East, Akron bouncing back and picking up a victory today. So they're 3-1. The Bobcats, Frank Solich has them going again at 3-1. You'll see Miami on ASN next week against Eastern Michigan. Western Michigan trying to climb to 4-0. Western Michigan and Toledo will meet the final regular season game. So the Broncos, if they hold on, they'll be 8-0. And for those of you who just watched Sam Houston State and Nicholls State in the Southland joining us here, we welcome you in to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Sam Houston State winning that game 38-21. Here it's 45-24. Western Michigan, ranked number 20 in the country, looking for an 8-0 start. Of course, you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, 9 straight wins dating back to last year. This will be 10. That's second only to, I think, Washington also has 9, but Alabama looking for number 20 tonight against Texas A&M.
Yeah, they got their hands full. It'll be a tough one. Still a lot of football here to go. 7:55. We've seen, Eastern Michigan. I know for those of you that are just joining us, the score is not indicative of how close this game has been. It's only been the last couple drives where the Broncos have gotten some stops on the Eagles, and then their offense have been able to punch it into the end zone.
Yeah, these Eagles took the lead in the first half. First time Western Michigan's trailed at home this year. This one's complete to Antoine Porter. Porter, the junior out of San Francisco, California. He was a big target in the first half. I think that's the first time we called his number. In the second half, he picks up 12. So Brogan Roback trails in the game 45-24, but he's had a good game as well. And his protection's been good. Western Michigan came in with 21 sacks. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they got to him today. If they did, he might have thrown it away. I don't think they have a sack.
Well, that was one of the concerns, that defensive coordinator Ed Pinkham had, is, the fact that they haven't been able to get to Roback because of, his ability to elude the rush and make plays outside the pocket when the protection didn't break down.
Second and 10. Roback, again, plenty of time. Far side, got it. And he finds his man up near the 50 at about the 48-yard line. And that's complete to Johnny Newplow. There's P.J. Fleck looking for his 10th straight win. He's got some influential coaches above him coming up. Joe Novak, Jerry Kill, Jim Tressel, Greg Schiano. So Jerry Kill really taught him how to care for his players. Jim Tressel taught him how to be poised in hectic situations, and Greg Schiano at Rutgers taught him how to be tough. Fleck was saying, I thought I was tough. I thought I coached tough. I wasn't sure I could coach any tougher, but Schiano at Rutgers and, of course, with the Tampa Bay Bucks taught him how to coach even tougher.
Yeah, and some of that is learning on your own, as Coach Fleck has done a great job being a former player. You have to know when to be tough, but you also know when you got to love them up. And I've been around a lot of great coaches, played for a lot of great coaches, Rex Ryan, obviously Marvin Lewis out with the Bengals, Coach Tony Dungy, professionally, Jack Del Rio. So I understand what tough coaching, but also good loving is, and that's how you get the most out of your players.
Roback again. And he hits the baby giraffe, Nigel Kilby, the 6'7 freshman. He's inside the 45-yard line. That's his second catch. He picks up 8 on the play. 6:45 to go in the ball game. Time is running out on the Eagles. Third down. They're 7 of 12 here on the road. Eagles looking for their 4th straight road victory and nowhere to go. He's spun down. There's number 53 making the initial contact. Nathan Braister, the junior out of Fort Wayne.
Good job of him getting in the backfield. 6'5", 272 pounds. 2.5 tackles for loss on the season, and as he does an excellent job of being able to fight off and knife down. Great call by defensive coordinator in order to allow his player to get into position. Not let him just rush up the field. Give him a nice little slant blitz, and he's into the A-gap and makes a big tackle for loss.
4th down. They're 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions in the first half. Over the middle again, the baby giraffe, Kilby with the catch. Far shy of the first down, so they have to turn it over on downs here. They picked up the first down. Excuse me, they were moving the chains already. So I stand corrected. I apologize.
Well, he needed all 6'7" of that frame, and that was just enough to move the chains for the Eagles offense.
Picked up 5 on the play. Another first down for the Eagles. Roback steps up, fires. There he is again, Kilby. Inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line. Boy, they usually use him with the fades around the end zone because he's so tall, but he's had 3 straight catches now for the Eagles.
Yeah, and they do a great job of lining him up in the slot, as you said, and then now he's just going to run what we call a sail route, like the sail of a boat, where he just gets over behind the linebackers and in front of the safety, and an excellent job. And you can see all he has to do is throw it high. He's 6'7", you also, throw that high, gives him an opportunity, no one else to make that big play.
Here he is again. Forward progress should put that about the 16-yard line. He is driven back. Ashante Brown, the linebacker.
And that's the second time we've seen him dump the baby giraffe Kilby today. And, you know, he'll learn. Again, he's a young man, a true freshman, 6'7", 239. You know, he'll get in a winter in the weight room and conditioning, as you see right there, you know, from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and he'll learn to start, you know, lowering that shoulder and forearm and knocking off those DBs and linebackers and protecting that big frame and legs of his.
Keeps it on the ground. Nice hole on the left side. Ball came loose at the 8-yard line. It's recovered by Breck Turner, the running back. And so now they're inside the 10-yard line with 4:27 to go.
Yeah, you see him getting frustrated with himself. This is a great job. As you see, the baby giraffe gets a big block. But this is the second time Turner has fumbled the football from someone else. So he's got to learn, and that's why you saw him getting up, you know, a little frustrated, angry with himself, because the coaches have talked about it, you know, and now guess what happens? When you mess up and you're a freshman, come to the sideline and coaches come over here and talk to you about it. And as you see, one of the coaches pulls him aside, and he'll go stand there, you know, behind Coach Creighton and his running back coach, and everyone else will make sure they pat him up, talk about it, but can't turn the football over.
Saw that shot of Chris Creighton in just his third year. Keep in mind, if they lose this game, they were 1-11 last year, so he's just laying brick by brick, building a new foundation for this football program. There was the snap. Roback turned and called for the timeout, and luckily he gets it.
Eastern Michigan called timeout. Timeout on the field. This will be a 30-second team timeout.
Well, Tim O'Day, our referee, said, yeah, he called the timeout prior to the snap, but that ball came shooting out, and Roback didn't even know it was coming. So Chris Creighton now has 3 minutes and 55 seconds to go, trailing 45-24. But just score, get out of here with a very respectable football game. Yeah, there's the call. It was well before the snap, but the center, Jake Hercom.
And you get that a lot of times, Mike, when it's, you know, so much shotgun in this day and age of spread formations and passing offenses where the center, you know, not having that quarterback, you know, under center and behind him, a lot of time these centers are asked, you know, to stretch and pull and do a lot athletically, and most of them are athletic, as is, you know, Jake Hercombe right there, the senior, you know, from Lincolnshire, Illinois. So, you know, you sometimes will get that.
This is Parker, the freshman, inside the 5-yard line. He's pushed back. Forward progress should put this at the 4 on a 3rd and 1. So it's going to be 1st and goal now for the Eagles. .342 to go. Parker, boy, he has stood up. Wow, coming up and making the hit. That's number 2. That's Justin Tranquil, the redshirt freshman out of Indiana.
But I like what they're doing. They're going to power this in there. That's a great job of reading the block, and it's one-on-one, and that's, you know, it's going to be, you know, Tranquil or it's going to be Parker that get in the end zone, and Tranquil won the battle that time.
Timeout is called on the field here with 3:25 to go. Timeout is charged to Western Michigan. Coming off their first shutout since 2006, shutting out Akron 41-0 last week. And as you pointed out, Akron bounced back, putting more than 30 on the board.
Yeah, they got to win today. Much needed victory today for Akron. And that's why they're still at the top of the standings and continue to try to fight to make their way to the MAC championship game.
So here's the upcoming schedule right now for the Broncos. On the road at Ball State and Kent State, then home against Buffalo. They close up with Toledo. It'll be interesting to see if Toledo and Western are both undefeated in conference play. And for Chris Creighton and the Eagles of Eastern Michigan, home against Miami. They go to Ball State and then close with 2 home games against Northern Illinois and Central Michigan. So, you know, we could be looking at one of these 2 coaches as Coach of the Year here.
Absolutely.
In the Mid-American Conference. Now, the odds would say Fleck, but if Creighton can pile up a couple more victories and go to a bowl game, he very well could be. As they finally get in the end zone, it's again the freshman Willie Parker gets his first touchdown as a college football player.
They lined up in the same formation. Glebe basically was 2 tight ends. We're going to go heavy personnel. You know exactly where we're going. We're going to run it, to the right side. That's 3 runs in a row. I like the message that Coach Creighton is sending. Like, we're lining up. We're not going to try to trick you or do whatever. We're just going to line up and knock you off the ball. So, no matter what the outcome of this game is, as he's been changing the culture, and we've talked about this with him this week, and them having the biggest turnaround, obviously, in FBS, victories. This is one of the situations where they're going to line up and say, look, we were able to do this and continue to build on this through the winter and the spring next year and going into the fall. And they'll be better for it as they have continually grown in the last couple years.
Fricano still is perfect with the PAT department. 3:21 to go, 45-31. Broncos still in the lead. 5:31, the Broncos of Western Michigan on top. Last drive by Eastern Michigan, they go 75 yards to their credit. So there's still fight in those Eagles, but the Broncos can hold on here with 3:21 to go. They'll go to 8-0 for the first time since 1941. With a trip to Muncie, Indiana. Another chance for Darius Phillips, the kick return wizard. There's the onside kick, and it's taken by, guess who, number 15, Carrington Thompson. So Thompson not only having a big receiving day on the good hands team. We'll take another break here. 3:18 to go, 45-31, Western.
Is that its team?
Mizzou, Broncos on top, 45-31. The player of the game is sponsored by Western Michigan University, where you'll not only create your future, you'll strike gold. Visit wmich.edu/strikegold.
Yeah, and you're talking about Carrington Thompson is the player of the game. Huge day right now when you talk about the plays he's made from the opening snap of this football game. Started scoring. Again, he's running perfect routes. Excellent job, again, by that young senior right there for his second touchdown of the day, as you see right there.
And his numbers are astronomical, 177. Earlier in the broadcast, Brad, we mentioned that through 7 weeks, a Bronco's been honored 10 times, 5 times offensively, 3 times defensively, special teams twice. I think Carrington Thompson might be mentioned for a possible player of the week in the West Division. This is Franklin. Franklin's won it the last 2 weeks, as a matter of fact, on the offensive side. He gets inside the 45-yard line.
And he's had tough sledding, but running the football, but give credit to the Eagles defense because they've done a great job of bottling him up. But again, both of those running backs, Franklin and Bogan, have done a great job, in the offense when their number has been called. But Carrington is just having a phenomenal day for 2 weeks in a row. Last week had career highs. This week's, takes it up another notch and sets new career highs for himself. So, again, a lot of optimism for this young man in this offense and what he's able to do to help, Corey Davis, the All-American, on the other side.
Franklin gets 7. He has 106 in the ball game now for Western Michigan. There he is again, inside the 40, down near the 35-yard line. Kirk Ciarrocca said, our running game is better this year because of Corey Davis, number 84. And today, of course, it's been Carrington Thompson, but he says it's so impossible to cover Davis. Matter of fact, I thought we'd see or hear Davis's name and number called more today. But, of course, that one phenomenal touchdown catch that he had, I guess that speaks volumes with his talent.
Well, and that's what this offense needs, and that's a good thing. They take away the number one weapon, on the perimeter in Davis, but then you have Carrington Thompson step up. So when the future opponents watch this film, that's something that they have to take into account as they build their game plan.
Franklin again, not too much running room this time, stacked up at the 35-yard line. Good pursuit by the Eagles. Inside 2 minutes now, minute 48 to go before they put this game in the history books. So Franklin, 2 years ago, not only the freshman of the year in the MAC, but the offensive player in the year with 24 touchdowns. It's amazing. 24 touchdowns as a rookie, and then you have Bogan coming in with a 1,000-yard season. A lot of players couldn't handle that, but they said Franklin handled it just fine. Matter of fact, they said Davis, if he doesn't have any catches, he doesn't care as long as they put the W.
Well, and that's what you want. You want unselfishness because good things happen to good people in life and in football. So, by being unselfish and being happy for his teammates' success, that allows him to have success. So, Carrington had a huge day today, which is good for that young man, but it's also good for this offense because, Michael Henry, number 83, the other senior from Flint, Michigan, he had a good day catching the football.
Well, the play of the game sponsored by Bartholomew Heating and Cooling, serving Bronco fans with over 60 years of quality installation.
Well, and you talked about it, again, goes up, eats popcorn off the DB's head right there. Ross Williams, Corey Davis, the All-American, MAC all-time leading receiver, does what he does, ladies and gentlemen. 11th touchdown, leads the nation right now, and goes up for a huge, huge touchdown at a key point in the third quarter, 31 yards from Zach Terrell, in order to extend the lead for the Western Michigan Broncos.
So Davis now just 4 shy of taking over the all-time lead, going to number 1 as far as the MAC touchdown record. As Brad pointed out earlier, he's number 1 active receiver in the FBS. Terrell with a 400-yard game, the first 400-yard game since Alex Quarter against Purdue in the Motor City Bowl back in 2011. Ball is loose, and Eastern Michigan, well, it might have been out of bounds. They said they have it. If they do, it was awfully close to that sideline, so who knows, maybe Eastern Michigan can tack on some more points here before heading back to Ypsilanti.
Take a look right here. This is the second time we've seen, the football pop out again. We talked about it on the other side with the freshman Turner running the football. And, again, you see right here, Dwayne Eskridge.
The ruling on the field is
the
the ball
freshman
was recovered out of bounds. Therefore, it will be 4th down, Western Michigan. There is no foul on the play. The clock will start on the snap.
That was Juan Geraldo, the junior from Gilbert, Arizona, coming up with the football, but he was out of bounds. And so it's going to be a 4th down play.
But there's a lot to be said, Mike, for this Eastern Michigan defense, that they continue to fight. Even with 54 seconds to go, they're still pulling at the football, trying to make something happen defensively to get the ball back to their offense and still try to fight. You never know what can happen. Crazier things have happened in sports, as we're all aware of. But excellent job, and it starts with that guy you just saw in your monitor. Coach Creighton has done an excellent job in the last couple years as he continues to rebuild this program. And they had a little bit of a setback today, but there's nothing to hang their head out. To come on the road, their second 2-game road instead of the career, 5th of the season, 5th road game in 8 games this season. And, they fought their tails off today and just come up a little bit short against one of the top teams in the country.
Derek Mitchell, who was in the Phillies organization, made it all the way to AAA on the punt for Western Michigan now. On the season, 45.8 on the season. They'll kick it away with 54 seconds to go. It's funny, the parallels between these two programs, both 1-11 not that long ago, and they both used the philosophy 1-0, meaning that when they came into this game, 7-0 meant nothing.
No.
They wanted to get to 1-0.
Yeah.
For instance, Western Michigan 1-0 against Northern Illinois, 1-0 against Central Michigan, 1-0 against Akron. Now they're going to be 1-0 against Eastern Michigan. Then it goes back to 0-0, and they'll try to get to 1-0 against Ball State.
And it sounds, cliche, but that's the reality of it. That's what you have to do. And in this day and age for, these coaches and these young men, you got to remember, a lot of these young men are 17, 18, 19 years old. You have to teach them things that you have to focus on what's at hand right now. And it's the same thing that happens for the guys that get paid to do it on Sundays. And the teams that can have that focus and not look to the past and not look to the future, but take care of the present, those are the teams that find ways to keep winning, and they stay humble, and you look down, and you just keep grinding. Then all of a sudden you look up and you're right where you want to be at the end of a season.
We had co-players of the week in the West, of course, before we mentioned Franklin and Roback were both the co-players. You've got Terrell throwing for over 400 yards, and you've got Thompson with 177-yard catching. So what do you do if you could make that call?
I'm not saying anything because we talked about this before. Someone may have 415 yards. Another receiver may have 200 yards. But I think you have to go to both of those young men deserve it, and they've worked hard for that opportunity, especially in this football game, a tough-fought football game.
Parker over the 15, but again, a penalty flag dropped on the play.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 10. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that's the leader on the defensive team, Robert Spillane, junior out of Oak Park, Illinois. And it's a big one against Western Michigan, but I guess 34 seconds to go. It's wide under the bridge now.
No pun intended, as the Broncos continue to row the boat, which is one of their slogans here.
Well, Brad, it's been fun. It's a quick sign-off here, 30 seconds to go, and it's been great working with you again.
I love it, buddy. Can't wait to see you at the Jackson family reunion.
They won't let me in. My name's not Jackson.
You're good. You got your grandson. You're good. And you're with me. You know me.
I'll have to go with my grandson. His name is Jackson.
Well, always a pleasure working with you, good buddy. You make it easy to do what I do, and I'm always honored to be with you.
Final play coming up. Robeck at 300 yards. Terrell at 400. And that's going to do it. For Brad Jackson, Mike Gleason saying so long. 45-31, the final score. Western Michigan goes to 8-0 for the first time since 1941, with a trip coming up to Muncie, Indiana at Ball State next week. Thanks for joining us. So long, everybody, from Kalamazoo, Michigan.